welcome to the January 2022 results meeting, February 2022 results meeting, March 2022, April 2022, the May 2022, June, July, what do we do? August 2022, September 2022, October, November 2022. All right, cool. So this month I want to talk to you guys about insurance, sales, and customer service. And I need you guys' opinion on this, okay? So what we do as a profession, would you guys consider it hard or easy?
Mentally hard.
Mentally hard. Okay. In what way?
Like you're persuading somebody with your words.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that can be a little bit hard.
Definitely. Sometimes if you get like a bunch of rejections in a row,
yeah,
that can be mentally hard too, right? Any other perspectives, easy or hard?
I mean, it's easy. At least we don't have to push a molar. What is it?
It's easy physically.
Yeah, there you go.
Physically, it's almost too easy. You know? I mean, all I have to do is walk to the restroom. You know, because like some of the things like paperless now, like I don't even walk to the printer that much anymore. It used to be the printer in the restroom, now it's like just a restroom. So it's physically very easy, okay. What else, easy or hard?
I think it's hard because there's so many insurance companies, and it's just like
competition, huh?
competition.
Okay, that's valid. You know, if like, hey, we got a little lower rate, kind of help us out there, right? You know, it would be too easy if we were the cheapest every time. But competition, pricing, you know, the contingency, those are things that kind of make it hard. Yeah. Any other perspectives?
It's easy because it's something that the whole world needs, or
Everyone needs.
Yeah. There's a need there, right? In fact, it's required for them to have. Okay, because people have different sales jobs. Yeah, that's a good one. You know, people have different sales jobs where you're literally selling them anything that they don't actually need at all. Like, you know, so, but you have to try to sell it. You have to do customer service for something that people aren't unhappy with the product. So if they need it, it's a lot easier to sell. All right, one more, easy or hard?
I would say it's hard in a way of getting the client to understand what exactly they're getting themselves into.
Yeah, it's there's
teaching.
Teaching or explaining, right? Yeah, it's not the most simplest thing. You know, because it's not something like here's a pen, like you could draw with this. Here you go, this is $5. You know, it's like you gotta explain it like you can't see it. Like, you know, here, like we're gonna do this and that, and I'm just gonna like email you. And I kept, you know, for that, you know, can I have your card number? You know, so yeah. Okay, so here's some things I have for you guys, okay? Reason why it's hard. So yeah, you gotta explain, there's some product knowledge too. You gotta understand the policy, okay? You gotta study and get licensed. You guys were talking about that earlier. So there's a little bit of learning phase there. There's a lot of things to learn in insurance, so that can make it challenging, hard, okay? It takes a little time to be good at it, okay? Again, since you have to know the product, you have to understand the product and know the ins and outs of it and understand all these rules, so you'll be good at it. So not like some jobs where you could just go the first day and be like, okay, I know how to do this. You know, so there's a lot of learning curve there, okay? You have to be good at sales, okay? The price is too high, you know, there's a little bit of math involved, you know, there's problem solving involved, and, you know, sometimes we have difficult customers too, you know, so there's parts of it that's hard. All right. So why I think it's easy part, okay, so we talked about the physically easy. And there's a lot of sales jobs where you're literally on your feet all day long and you have to wear dress shoes and you have to walk around and be like, hey, can I help you? And you're outside in the car dealership and you're just like running around trying to get sales there, okay? So we get to sit here with AC on. So physically, it's very easy, right? Would you guys agree? Okay, we also help people. Okay, I think that's a big part of making it easy. Because there's different positions, you know, different jobs where you're literally kind of like scamming people. Or it's easy on your conscience, this job. Because at the end of the day, you go home and you're like, oh, I protected that person, I helped that person. They need it, so we're not pushing them something they don't need. There's a lot of different jobs, or some jobs that are illegal that you're like, very stressful, or you actually feel bad about what you're doing at the end of the day. So consciously, it's easy, and you're helping somebody, so that really makes it easy. Okay. You don't need a degree. You don't have to get in debt to be in this job. Okay, so that makes it easy, I would say. And then the schedule. Schedule makes it easy. Again, there's different, realtors or like car salesmen or different nurses or just different jobs out there that you have crazy schedules. We got a set schedule here. We work at a certain time. We get off at a certain time. Very good work-life balance. We have weekends off. We got holidays off. A lot of people in the insurance business are very family-oriented people, and that's why they like business insurance, because they have a set schedule, and it really fits well with being able to be there for your family. Okay, so what do you think I'm trying to get at?
We're in a good business.
We're in a good business, and I used to say this business is so hard. I used to be like, you got to grind through it. It's like, put massive action, work a ton of hours, and challenge all these objections, and we're just gonna be able to like get through this. Persistence and just like grit and grind it. But I was like, I just changed my perspective recently. Like, what we do is actually pretty easy. If you think about it, we really just sit here, and we either talk or we write, and we help, and we get paid. Some of us pretty really well too. Okay, so I just want to share with you guys, I changed my perspective here. I think what we do is really easy. And once you start thinking it's easy, then it helps me understand this concept that I want to share with you guys this month. Okay, so what is that concept you guys think is, once you start thinking it's easy, then you start thinking in what way?
How to make it harder so you get better?
Um,
What are you?
Yeah, we do want to challenge ourselves. We do want to set goals and make it harder for us to achieve it, because even though it's easy, there's people who are going to be taking more action and getting more results. So we can still push ourselves in this business for sure. But I guess what I'm trying to get here is something that I usually talk about a lot of times. Okay, because another thing that gives us a little bit of perspective, really, maybe. Okay, so there's a lot of different type of jobs I talked about, graveyard shifts, or like jobs that require you to be in tremendous amount of debt, or like just different things like that. But also, let's not even think about, where we live. Okay, because there's different parts in the country, in the world, where there's a lot harder jobs than this. I mean, some parts of the country, the job is to just survive. It's to walk 5 miles just to get clean water for your baby. So there's the opportunity is not there, and the circumstances are very difficult. There's civil war going on. There's, people just get sick of stuff that we just drink water and just gets it out. They can't even do that because it just stays in their body because they don't have clean water to like get them out of their system. So people literally die from just diarrhea, the kids. So the location-wise, we're very fortunate. And then also the era we live in. We could have been born in a different time of the world, let's say, where there's just, jobs were probably very difficult back then, I would imagine. There was no internet. You're just born and you're just like, everything was just like, that's what you do. There's no like options. So we're very fortunate to be in this business, not only being born here or be in this business, but also be in this business where we are. So the whole reason I want to talk to you guys about is I want to just have a little level of something going up. Which is something that I always talk about all the time. It's really the key to this whole thing. I haven't talked about it in a couple months, which is kind of rare. So what's that word I'm looking for?
Gratitude.
There you go. You guys saw it on the board, no? Okay, so let's talk about gratitude, okay? Why is gratitude important? How does it help us?
Stay positive.
Motivated, positive, yeah.
Humble.
Okay. Humbling, yep, that's a good one. Wow. Yeah.
But that's not the word you're looking for.
No. It helps you. No, it helps you stay more humble. I actually didn't think of it in that angle, but how does it help you motivated, America?
It keeps you looking forward and not wanting to be in a different position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. you're happy with you're happy, you know, so it keeps you looking forward. And then positive, right? Yeah. You know, the opposite of gratitude is like entitlement, or it's like kind of like, oh, like this sucks, like wow, like why this, like boo this, like, you know, it's just like just gonna have a negative attitude. And humbling is good too, because in this business, really, it's just about attitude, and all three of those things help with attitude. Okay, you get it, right? Because what we do is just talk to people and type to people, and we get paid for that. So on the other side, for them, it's like only thing that determines if they're gonna buy or not is our attitude, really, almost, right? And this job is so much easier if you're in a good mood. And it's so much easier to sell insurance if you have more energy, you know, and you have a good attitude. Like, who doesn't want to feel like someone appreciates them? The customer is going to be like, oh, okay, thank you for calling. Hey, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity here. Okay, can I have your license number? Oh, thank you so much for providing me that to me. And it's just like, oh, this person, I like this person because this person is grateful of my situation. You're going to do tons better if you have gratitude in sales. Customer service, that's obvious too. Thank you for being a client. If they sense that gratitude, then they're going to feel, again, loved, and that's going to help them stay with us. Okay, so in this job, your attitude is everything, and once you have attitude of gratitude, it just makes you better at this job. Okay, you're going to be more likable, and everything is just going to work so much better. And that's really what I want to, you know, the whole reason I'm doing this is so we can make more money. So if you have a better gratitude, then we're going to be better at this job, and if you're better at this job, then we all get paid more for this job. What's another thing that helps with gratitude?
Helps you work hard because you're grateful for your job.
Bingo. Okay, I'm going to use the word activity here. Okay, but that's exactly it, Jason. I think you understand this really well at the situation where you're at right now, because, you know, again, if you're grateful for the job, and then you're going to take more advantage to it. You know, it makes you work harder because you're like, oh, you know, now that we talked about all these different scenarios you have, you're like, oh, this is a good opportunity. Then you want to take more advantage of it. You know, a lot of people that, you know, been here, I didn't see, here and haven't worked out are the people who weren't grateful. You know, it goes both ways too. Like that's why I always want to show you guys my gratitude towards you guys, because it helps in business. It helps me personally too. But if it goes back and forth, then you put in more effort, because the more grateful I am for you guys, then I'm thinking like, okay, how can I get more leads? How can I do this? How can I do that? You know, because I'm grateful, you know. So when you're grateful for something, then you actually respect it more, and you actually work harder. And this is the two things. That's the only two separating things that really matter besides time. Because if you have good attitude, if you have good activity, then it's just a matter of time. Okay. If one of these things isn't right, then it's not going to work out in this business. But that's how simple it is. Okay. And the reason I want to talk to you guys about this is because I want you guys to do good. So having gratitude is really the key to this whole thing. A quote I have here, I guess it's more based on attitude, is the struggle ends when the gratitude begins. I thought that was a really powerful quote there, because you know, there's no reason for us to struggle. You know, there's no, you know, in this business. We have a great opportunity here. We have all the support. We should be grateful for each other. Okay, that's what's another thing we should be grateful for?
Our team.
Our team, yeah, our team. Again, we have different roles, and if somebody wasn't here last month, then it wouldn't have worked out. Everybody had a role. Everybody helped us out. We help each other stay motivated. We support each other. We're there for each other. We try to make work fun for each other. And then also, you know, we want to be very grateful for our customers. Big time for our customers. I think that's where a lot of businesses lose their way. They get too ahead of ourselves. Maybe it's the humility you talked about. You know, oh, we're doing so good. You know, like, oh, like we have so many clients. We don't respect each one of them enough. Okay, so let's be grateful for each other, you know, for the opportunity, for our clients, and then great things are going to happen. All right? And I want to leave you guys with one more thing, okay? So let's just pretend that, you know, Farmers Insurance, we're doing a great job. So to all of you guys, you get a direct deposit tomorrow. Okay, so it's for $1 million. How would you guys feel?
Each or as a whole?
Each. Boom, direct deposit.
Going on vacation.
Yeah. Very grateful, right? Would you be like, oh, I wish it was 2?
No.
No.
Would you be like, what took so long? Would you feel very happy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty damn happy, right? Like you're dancing maybe. Like it's like pretty exciting moment right there. Okay, but you know, there's always gonna be catch. It's either that. If you take that, then you can't wake up the next day.
Come on.
Does that change the deal?
I'd rather wake up the next day. And
Yeah?
Well, I guess, you know,
Yeah.
it's better than having $1 million for a day and then, you know, you at least have the rest of your life to make that $1 million, you know what I mean?
Right. So, and I agree with you. So what you're saying is, waking up is more valuable than $1 million,
Yeah, then
right? So if you're so happy with this, then how come we're not so happy with waking up?
Because you forget about
Yeah, you take it for granted, right? So that's why I want to kind of center us and remember that every day we wake up, it's an opportunity. It's a reason for us to be super happy. You know, because we get to wake up. It's not I have to wake up. We get to go to work. It's not I have to go to work. You know, it's not I have to make money. It's like you get to make money. So when you look at it this way, there's every day we wake up is a great opportunity for us to be happy, to be enthusiastic. We should always be grateful. So that's kind of how I look at life, and it's actually making me a much more happier person, which is kind of the whole key to this thing. And the happier I get, the more money I make. So just want to share with you guys. We are very grateful. I'm very grateful for you guys, and let's keep doing this thing together, especially for Jazz and Jaylene this year, and make them them in a situation where we're winning, we're productive, and they have an escape to come to work. And same with all you guys too. We come to work, we get to kind of worry about the other stuff that's going on. We get to come to work and be happy and be grateful for each other and our clients. All right? All right, great. Thank you guys. So I want to share with you guys, like I always do, really all I'm trying to do is try to motivate you guys, try to help you guys, try to get us excited about this great opportunity we have. So this month, I'm going to talk to you guys about something I saw recently on TV. I do watch TV every once in a while.
Wow.
Yeah. Guess what I've been watching?
The Kanye West.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like the first 2.
Me too.
That's when I used to like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like his music. Well, I still like his music, but
Mm-hmm.
back then, that was
Yeah.
his most.
Yeah, me too. I remember that period because I was about to finish school, and I wasn't even finished. Sure, I wasn't wanted to finish school in college because the album came out when I was like a senior in college. I was like, I heard the album was like, this makes so much sense, and I was like, but I still graduated because I just had to take. I was actually working full time at a sales job when I thought I graduated and on my resume and everything, but I found out afterwards I didn't graduate college because I was missing one lab class from a chemistry class and I didn't even take it. So I was like, oops, I kind of I lied on my resume. And I was listening to this album, I was like, what does it even matter? But then, my mom was like, where's the diploma? So I was like, okay, well, fine. I'll go to junior college and just take this lab. But I had to miss Saturdays to take that class because I didn't want to miss work. And I was in there with a bunch of I think these kids were in high school. Huh?
You took that class?
I took that, yeah, just to take that one class.
To get his certificate.
Yeah, to finally get my actual diploma. But then during that time, I was like, man, I could be at work making money. I was like, man, but I still got, it over with. But anyways, so what do you guys like about the documentary?
I like how he never gave up and he was so persistent to get where he wanted. He believed in himself very much, so he never stopped until he got to where he actually wanted to get.
Yeah.
I like when he says like
Very well said.
Like I don't only have goals, like I have aspirations.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is not it for me.
And then I like how he sometimes can sound cocky, but it's because he believed so much in himself and he really wanted it so much that he would be like, I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna be, so.
And he would surround himself with people that would motivate him to,
Mm-hmm.
like no one other than people like closing the door on him, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was like, what? Like when he was showing like his song to the secretary girls, and they're like straight ignoring him, and I'm like, oh my god, no! And it's like a hit, like it's still a hit from back then, So it's like, oh my god, like they completely just like overlooked him.
Yeah,
You
and it's
know?
how like the label had more priority over these other rappers who
Yeah.
ended up being nobodies.
Yeah, like I see like when they're doing a music video, I'm like, who the hell are these people? Like I've never heard of them in my life.
like that rapper that went to go listen to his song.
Yeah, it was different, you know, because it wasn't about like drugs and like
Yeah.
guns and like violence and stuff like that. It was just like it wasn't about that, so it was a little different. But that's now what's in too, you know, like it's less violence and more like a real life stuff that they've gone through. So, anyways, you know, one of the things that I liked about it is when they were asking him, because he really came from not nobody knowing him to winning a Grammy, and then somebody was asking like, hey, can you believe all this is happening? Like, this is crazy, like what you went through, and then now you're here. And then he was like, I do believe it. But I was just trying to tell everybody else, but they wouldn't believe me. So I thought that was very powerful, because one of the things I want to talk to you guys about is belief and how that could help us, okay? Because, you know, what do you think that he had that helped him, you know, get to his goals?
He was hungry.
He was hungry, yeah. What else did he have?
He was creative. He had different ideas.
He's very creative. I mean, talk about a creative person.
He just really wanted it because he even paid for his first video.
Yeah, it's just hunger, perseverance, you know, creativity. But I want to talk to you guys about today about vision, okay? Because I think what he had is what people didn't see it. Like, you're a producer, you know, you're not going to be a rapper. Like, that's not the style that people are going to like. You know, it's totally different from what, you know, the market wants. But he had a vision that I'm going to be myself, but then I'm still going to be able to succeed as a rapper. And talk about, you know, talking about rappers, but talk about musicians. I mean, how hard is it to break through to become a musician in this world? I mean, talk about so many people want to be a musician, and to be able to do that, you have to have vision that's crystal clear, and you're just not going to give up on that. So I want to talk to you guys about vision, okay? Because I do believe vision is a big part of who we become. Like, if you think you're going to be some person, it's kind of like very similar to habits. A lot of times it comes true. Okay, if your vision, or maybe you don't have a vision, is that you're going to be average at work, you're going to be average relationships, and you're going to have average life, average health, even below average, that's sometimes people's vision or their expectation of themselves. A lot of times that's going to come true. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about vision here, because I just want to share with you guys, you know, the vision we should be having here, because this is you. Okay, and then this is the vision of who you think you're going to become. And I'm going to put it a little bit higher because, you know, I'll make it look like you're striving for something higher, okay? So every time I hire somebody here, okay, when I sit down with you guys, I have a vision for you guys. What do you think that vision is here?
Eventually be an agent.
Eventually be an agent, okay? That's the vision, okay? I think that a little bit more to that too. Like, I feel like I wouldn't really hire somebody if I didn't have the vision of like, this person could pass the test and this person could be successful in this insurance business. So that's my vision. Okay, what other visions do you guys have? Like, what you guys want to share?
Make more money.
Making more money? Yeah, I actually envision that. Like, I don't just hire somebody and be like, oh, this person is just gonna, you know, just be a clerk for the rest of their life. I don't. That's not what I sign up people up here for. I envision them to make money and be able to take care of their family in this business. Anything else?
To grow.
Yeah, just growing, helping us out more. You know, I envision them to be great communicator. Okay, we're in the communication business, just great communicator, very knowledgeable, very professional. I envision them to be good at sales. Okay, I envision them to be good at customer service. And there's more too, you know. I envision them to be great with getting along with their coworkers, getting along with me, getting along with clients. I envision even more too, like, you know, being able to write life insurance, you know, being able to drive the car they want, you know. I envision them owning a house. I envision a lot of things, you know. I even envision, like, you know, I hope, but, you know, you guys can envision whatever you guys want, but, you know, part of the vision is also, like, you know, you're in great shape, you don't get sick that much, you know, you're a great parent, you're a great partner, you're a great sibling, you're a great, you know, daughter or son, you're a great, you know, I like to envision everybody like that. Okay, so I just want you guys to know that that's what I envision for everybody here. Okay, so for here, to have this vision to get here, what do you think you guys need? So it starts with the word C.
Consistency.
Oh, that's a good one.
Commitment.
Commitment. Oh man, these are really good ones. Yeah, those are close enough. Consistency, commitment. But if I look it up in the dictionary, it's a firmly held belief or opinion. It's also a formal declaration that someone is guilty of a criminal offense made by the verdict of a jury. But that's not the right. That's not the word I'm going with.
Word?
Huh?
What's the second word after C?
Oh.
The letter.
Oh.
Oh.
You said courage?
I just say courage, yeah. No, but this is a firmly held belief or opinion. That's the definition.
Conceited.
Conspiracy. You're like delusional. Conceited.
Confidence.
It's very similar to confidence. Okay, it's conviction.
Oh.
Okay.
I was about to cheat.
All right. Conviction is what you get here. Okay, you gotta have a vision, but you have to have conviction, meaning that you firmly believe and this is what's gonna happen. So I just want to test you guys to see how strong your conviction is. Okay, because I'm a very convinced person. Okay, we could do this the agency model too. Like let's say this is the agency here. Okay, you know, Laura was there. You know, I was convinced we were gonna write 100K. I was freaking convinced. Okay. I was also convinced there was a time, okay, Laura was there too, when some of my employees were like not happy and they were talking shit about me and they were all like gonna quit at the same time and stuff like that.
They're conspired against with each other.
Yeah. Purposely.
They did.
Yeah. Right? But I was convinced, I was like, okay, you know,
Sorry.
but these girls, you know, I'm gonna start a new team and then that's when Blanca, Jasmine, and Yuchan started 6 years ago. Okay, so I was convinced I was going to have a team that's going to be able to win this business, and I was going to be able to help them out, and we're going to have a great relationship with my staff. So I was convinced that we were going to get here. Okay, what else was I convinced about? Okay, I was convinced that we were going to have multiple six-figure earners here. That's something that, you know, back then it could have been, you know, been far-fetched, but I was convinced about that. You know, I was also convinced that we were going to be able to move into a new office. This one, this place is 6 times more in cost. Okay, and if you guys remember, half of that was unnecessary.
I remember you were like a little stressed out.
Yeah. Right. We just needed just like this, right? And then that was like, okay, I'll build that up later. Okay. And I was convinced we're going to get to 350,000 this year.
You were convinced.
I was very convinced.
I was kind of like,
I was kind of like,
how the fuck are we gonna get there?
And we did it in February.
Yeah, we had that conversation in September.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you guys earned your bonus a little bit sooner than I expected. But that's the rules that I gave to you guys, the challenge that we gave to ourselves, and we did it. But I'm convinced we're going to get to 400,000. I'm convinced we're going to move to a different or expand this office. I'm convinced that we're going to have people make more money. And I'm just convinced that we're going to keep winning in this business. Okay, so conviction would really go a long ways because along these lines, you know, I mean, how many rappers would freaking just give up? You know, and I'm not even asking us to be rappers because the chances of that is even higher. I'm just asking you guys to be freaking professional insurance agents, successful insurance agents, which is a little bit easier. You know, the chances are very easy to be. So even as trying to become a professional that you strive yourself to be, there's still going to be challenges here. Okay, so you need the conviction because, you know, if you have conviction, you're just not going to give up. So how to have more conviction? Okay, I only have 2 points for you guys. Let's take a guess. How to increase your conviction level where your belief is stronger. You know you're going to be, you know, or you feel like you're going to be able to do this. So you're not going to give up, and you're just going to be more. This whole meeting is about. I just want you guys to believe in yourself more.
Have more confidence.
Yeah, how to have more confidence is very similar, but how do you gain that confidence?
By having hunger.
Setting up
Having
the
goals.
stage.
Having goals. Okay, what'd you say?
Setting it up.
Setting it up. In what way?
Like working towards it?
Yeah.
Yeah, working towards it.
Or
Yeah.
like really wanting it.
Yeah, and so what do you have to do?
Have goals.
Mm-hmm.
Show up.
Show up. Okay, you're getting there.
Show up and work.
Show up and work. There it is.
I mean, I can show up and then do nothing. You know?
Exactly. Okay, so how to have more conviction is to work. As simple as that sounds, how you have conviction is by working, because when you work so hard, you're working very hard, then subconsciously you're going to be like, I deserve it. I deserve to get here because I've been working hard. If you're not working hard, you're going to be like, oh, well, my conviction is going to be weaker because you don't even feel like you deserve to get here. But if you're working hard, even if nothing is happening right away, you're like, okay, well, I deserve it. I'm outworking these people. You know, Kanye must have been thinking like, my music is better. I just got to put it out, and I got to meet the right people. And I'm working twice as hard as anybody else, or 200 times as hard as anybody else. Then it's just a much better chance because you just feel like you deserve it. And not only that, when you're putting out more work, I guarantee you guys, if you're doing more quotes, talking to more people, even if you don't sell it, you're like, okay, maybe I should have done this. Okay, or maybe you're just getting better, because the more you work at something, I mean, I hope, you know, I would say that I'm much better as a leader than my first day I employed somebody than right now. Like, the more I did it, the more better I became at it. You know, like, I'm pretty sure his first beats weren't probably as hot as the ones that he put on the album. You know, for you guys, if you guys can imagine the first time you did a quote, you know, Laura, I mean, you know, all these years later, now you're so much better because you put in the work. Okay, so work, as simple as it sounds, is to get more conviction, to believe in yourself. Just put in the work. Okay, just put in the work, and you're gonna get better at what we do here. All right, and what do you guys think is number 2? Come on, guys, my knee's hurting here.
What letter does it start with?
Not settling.
Not settling is very close. It starts with P.
Consistency.
Yeah, very close. Persistency, yeah, that you kind of have it.
Persuasion.
Persuasion, yeah, to be good at sales, yeah. But you have to work hard, and sometimes you work hard, but you don't see anything happening right away. So you're like working hard. Patience. There it is. Okay, patience and consistency, because, you know, that's probably what happened to a lot of rappers. You know, they worked hard and they just ran out of patience, or they lost their conviction. So you need to combine these both two, because you have to work hard, you have to be patient. Just like anything else that requires good effort or great results, you know, because I could work really hard and any one of us could try to get abs. Could work really hard at it. But it's not going to happen, right? Unless you have patience. The same thing with careers. Okay, you have to have the patience, you have the consistency, and that's when you actually get results. All right? And then I just want to also add with you guys too that once you hit your vision here, you reach this vision, I'm going to talk about a whole nother level with some of us are at right now and are going to experience. Same thing here, 350,000. The question is going to be, are you going to be complacent right here? Okay? Because the real winners, talked about this other meetings, is going to have another vision of themselves. They're going to keep that going. Okay? And that's really the fun part about it, is to have optimistic vision of your future self. Because once you reach here and you're complacent, then you actually, even though you're happy you got there, over time you're going to be not that happy because you want the next thing. Okay? And that's what he's doing with the shoes and whatever else that he's going to be up to. But I want to have the vision continue. Once you reach here, once we reach this office, which is a vision of mine, I have the next vision's office. So for you guys who have maybe gotten here, the vision is to continue to grow, and I just would like to support you guys in that next version of ourselves. All right. So what I want to end you guys with is one of the favorite parts of that show so far. Anyone want to take a guess? I've only seen up to part 2. It's mostly the first one. Who supported him the most?
His mom.
His mom. Okay. So when I watched that part where she's like just so supportive, just so supportive, you know, you could just tell the love. And
well, no, she said when you stand in front of the mirror, you see a small person, but everyone sees a giant.
Right. Yeah, I remember that part too. So that's the conversation I'm talking to you guys about. Is just like just the investment and the passion she had in his vision. You could just tell that's where he gets his confidence from, because she loved on him so much. you know, and that was really touching for me. And I was like, man, I so get it so much because, you know, he was lucky to have a mom like that, that believed in him so much that it got instilled in him. So it was very touching scene for me because it did remind me of how my mom was. So, you know, you go Kanye, you know, just you got this, Kanye. That was amazing, Kanye. Just like so many great things that she was telling him all the time. And, you know, I feel like some of us are lucky. I'm sure you guys have people in your lives that are like that support you guys. And maybe some of us don't as much, you know. So I just want to share with you guys that I'm like Kanye's mom up in this bitch. You go, guys. You guys got this, guys. You could do it. Okay, so I just want to let you guys know that I believe in you guys more than anybody maybe. So, you know, just want to share with you guys that I believe in you guys. But it does have to start with you. Okay, so believe in your guys, believe in yourself, guys, because you know, I believe in you guys. All right, so let's now this month I'm going to talk about something that we don't talk about enough. Okay, this is kind of my fault, but what do you think we're going to have to talk about today? It's an important subject that I need to talk about, but it's not like sales or like, you know, exciting. But I didn't talk about it maybe enough, so that was maybe my fault. So things happen.
Ethics.
Ethics. Yeah, we're going to talk about ethics today, okay? All right, so who could give me the definition of ethics?
Doing something,
the right thing.
doing the right thing.
When no one's
Yeah.
available.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, looking.
Oh, no one's yeah, always doing the right thing when no one's looking. Just moral principles that govern a person's behavior or conducting of an activity. So it's moral principles that govern a person's behavior. Everybody's ethics are different, but you have principles that determine your actions. We're going to first start off with why we should have good ethics. There's going to be 3 reasons because, you know, we're going to talk about how we could improve our ethics, but I want to first talk about why we should have better ethics. It's just the right thing to do. Okay. And why do you want to do the right thing to do?
Reputation.
Reputation, okay. Yeah, reputation is a great word. It's the right thing to do. The reputation, I think the reputation I want to kind of go internally, and I want to say it's the reputation of yourself. Okay, like I generally want to feel like I'm a good person. Like I don't want to feel like I'm a bad person. Like I just don't. It's my identity is like I'm a good person, I'm an honest person, I'm a kind person, and that's just kind of how I want to look at myself. Yeah, like I want other people to like, but it has to start from me. You know, how do I consider what type of person I am? No one's like really proud. Like, hey, I'm really selfish. Like, haha, this is cool. You know, like. That's not I am. You know, so you want to have a reputation with yourself that you're a good person. You don't want to consider yourself a selfish person. You want to consider yourself a good teammate. You just want to be a good person because a bad person is someone that is messing up for the team. I mean, our agency could have been in jeopardy if this kept on happening, right? Or we could not have the VIP chat service. That could be easily taken away. Or the Bristol-West approval process. These are things that affects the team. So like, would you want to be a bad person that's causing bad things to people around you? No, I want to be a good person that's helping people and helping other people win and stuff like that. So it's kind of like the reputation, like Blanca said, but for yourself. And then if you're a bad person, then you're kind of like Jazz said, we were talking about it, like it kind of makes the rest of the team look bad, kind of. Real good businesses really grow off trust, you know? So I think it's just, being a good person, first and foremost, is the reason number 1, I would say. Number 2, I also have is that it gives you less stress. Okay? There's always going to be stress in life, but it's going to be less stress, right? Like, I don't want to come to work and be like, am I going to get a call from farmers? Like, are they going to, like, you know, is something going to happen to us? Like, I don't want that. Like, for you guys, maybe it's like, oh, is someone going to find out about this? And then, like, he's going to call me into the office, and, like, today might be the day I'm going to get fired. Like, you don't want to have, like, stress like that. Okay, and this goes beyond work too. Like if you're an unethical person outside of work or you're doing some shady stuff outside of work, I don't want to live a lifestyle where like I'm running away from the police or like gangs are after me or like I want to sleep good at night. Like I don't want to have that unnecessary stress of like wondering if all my stuff, my actions I'm gonna have to pay for the consequences later because you know you're gonna have to. You don't want to have that stress in your life because you know I want to be a good person and I want to be happy. And number 3, this is something that we always talk about. why do we want to have good ethics?
To stay in business.
Yeah, to stay in business, okay, but not only stay in business, what else am I all about here?
Making money.
Making money. Okay, so this too should be good enough to me. You know, I want to be a good person and I don't want to have stress. But let's just add it on here and let's just say we want to make more money. Like I really want to make a lot of money. I want to make tons of money. But making money, like Laura said, or doing well in this business takes patience. It takes time, so I don't want to get into trouble during that time because that will make me not. So in the long run, it just pays off to be more ethical. Because I'm not thinking, oh, I want to make an extra $100 on this check. Let me do something shady. I'm not thinking about that. Like that wouldn't even like the ROI, the return on investment, wouldn't be worth the risk that I'm taking because I want to try to make millions. I'm not trying to make an extra $100 and cheat the system to like figure out shortcuts because I'm patient and I want to make tons of money and I'll make you guys to make tons of money. So okay, this one is I want to be a good person because I'm not selfish. Well, if I have a selfish part of me, it's because I want to make money, so I'm going to be ethical too. So there's both reasons if you have a selfish side and a helpful side and I want to be happy. It just all makes sense. It just doesn't make sense for me. I learned it the hard way too before, okay? And it just didn't make sense for me. That's why maybe a little overcorrecting myself and I'm very extra careful because we got a lot to lose here. You know, we're in the insurance business. We're in the business of protecting bad things from happening to other people. So I got to protect my business and protect our bad things from happening to our business. Okay, so it's just so much better if you want to be a good person, live stress-free, want to make more money, then you want to be ethical. And also, you know, just speaking of ethics, I think what I'm going to need to do here is I want to, you know, I think my kindness kind of made me lower the bar a little bit at our office, you know, of our standards, because I was just too nice and I was like, oh, I like that person, but I want to kind of like increase the bar a little bit here of just our standards here, you know, ethicalness, and I hope that's kind of the message I'm sending here. But the good thing that happens when I raise the bar is that, you know, people live up to it, and then also if we raise the bar, we kind of lose people that aren't ready to have the bar risen. And then if you're doing really well, then it attracts other people that want to win in this business too. So if you have winners here, that's going to make other people say, I want to join that team. We're going to have more winners joining us, and that's going to help us win in the long term. So in the short term, it does suck what happened, but I think in the long term, it's going to help us have a better character in our office here, and we're going to be winning at a higher level in the short term, the long term. In the short term, I will say that we are going to be a little bit busier because we kind of lost some production there. The only thing I ask for you guys is really just be very, you know, just show a little extra level of commitment. You know, that's by just being here. I'm going to be busy training, you know, in recruiting, working on keep and stuff like that. So maybe helping me just staying productive, being committed, maybe helping me a little bit with training. That would be very, very helpful. And also a little bit of recruiting too. Okay, so if you guys know somebody that might be good for the business, so those are the ways you can help me. Okay, just be here please right now. Okay, be ethical, number 2. Okay, I don't want any other drama. Like, you know, I had enough issues. So please be here, please be ethical. Help me out with a little bit of training. You know, I'll probably will find somebody, but if you guys know somebody, I think that some of the most important things I'm looking for really is good work ethic and good ethics, like a good person. Like I don't care about the history, I don't care about anything else, you know. Another thing I'm also wanting to touch base with is, you know, a kind of a lesson that that could be learned from this situation is that you really want to be careful of who you talk to or who you kind of associate with yourself or who you are friends with. One thing about having loser friends, they're losers because they're insecure. So if they see your friend doing better than you or wanting to do better, then seeing that person come up makes them feel even worse about themselves. So what a loser friend does is they want to bring that other person down with you so you don't feel even shittier about yourself. Really, to me, no value to me to be spending my valuable time that could be used to make money or to be with my family to be spent on someone that's a loser, because what value do I get from that? So we really want to audit ourselves and be really careful of who we're listening to, who we're spending time with, because a lot of that does happen amongst people. All right, so yeah, so let's talk about how we get our work ethic up. This is really one very simple way.
Be honest.
Yeah, be honest. Work hard. Okay, so all my meetings are the same, right? We want to make money and we want to work hard and want to be patient. That's pretty much it, but it's all kind of ties down to that. But it's kind of funny because the word work ethic has the word ethics in there. If I can spell it right. But we're talking about the ethics meeting, and the word work ethic has the word ethics in there. Now that's because it's actually an ethical thing to do is to work hard. Okay, because if you're not working hard, who are you cheating? Your future. You're cheating yourself. Now there's a lot of other things too. Who else are you cheating? My boss, thank you. Thank you. I'm paying you X amount of dollars per hour, and then you're lazy, then you're giving me back less than that, then that's very unethical to me. That's very unethical. I think you're also cheating your family's future. It's just like you're not providing for them, you're not bringing back any value to them. Who else are you cheating?
The business.
The business, yeah. Your coworkers. You know, that's why top producers get really frustrated when they see lazy people. They want them to step up too because we all understand that all our work ethics makes a difference in all of our checks. Okay, you're cheating yourself, you're cheating your family, you're cheating, you know, your future family, your boss, your company. You're also cheating. I think it's also a sign of disrespect to your parents. I'll even go there, you know, because it's like they came to this country for the opportunity, and you're just not taking advantage of it. It's like, what about their sacrifice? Like, if you guys had to be like, okay, if this place really sucked, which it doesn't because there's so much freedom, but if this place was really oppressed and it was really difficult and you guys had to move to freaking a country where you don't even speak the language, that's what you guys as parents did. You know, so now to have this opportunity and to just be like not even like, you know, living up to it or just taking it for granted, I think that's honestly disrespectful. I think it's like the ethic thing is like, I look at it as my obligation. I could even say like it's also unethical to be lazy because if you're unethical, then you're actually taking taxpayers' money, people who are working hard, money to you in form of unemployment, whatever government does for you and all that stuff. That's actually taking from your community. So when people say like, oh, people who are really working hard, they're freaking greedy. They're the ones that always try to get all the money and stuff like that. Well, actually, I think I'm very ethical because I'm working hard. You're the one that's unethical because you're not doing your part and my taxes are going to you. I just want to look at work ethic as like, yeah, I want to get my work ethic up. I want to. It's more like you have to. I look at it as my duty, my obligation that I'm a hard worker because I want to be considered myself as a good person because it doesn't even have to do with like if I want to make money or not. It's like I just want to be a good person. So therefore I have work ethic because I have ethics. So how to have better ethics is you work hard. Because a lot of times when people cheat is because they're lazy. You know, they just want to make an extra couple bucks without putting in the work. So it's really tight. And that's why it's so interesting that the word work ethic has the word ethics in there because it's really connected to each other. Cool. All right, lastly, I want to talk to you guys about the opportunity. I got to thinking about this because it's crazy how like two people from very similar backgrounds, similar age, similar, you know, family dynamics, similar cultural dynamics, very similar people could be in the exact same situation and how their outcomes is completely different, you know, because how they respond to the opportunity, right? So this is me. I wish there was more space here.
Your muscles, Dan, your muscles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't want to exaggerate, but what's this?
Football.
Oh, there you go. See, my drawing's good, right? A
Looks
little
like a
bit,
dumpling.
I'm
hungry.
bit of muscles there. You know, I got some fresh kicks on.
Oh yeah.
And then this is you guys right here.
Draws cute.
Here's some lashes, okay? So if I have the ball, what position am I playing? Quarterback, okay. So take a guess at what you guys are here. You guys are the wide receivers, okay? So what do you think the ball represents?
Money,
There you go, yeah.
opportunity.
Opportunity. It represents opportunity. So the opportunity could be like leads. It could be Saturdays. It could be the call. The next call you get, the customer service call, could be a call you could turn into a cross-sell or a life sell, or you could get a role from it. You know, it could mean a different shift. You know, the ball represents opportunity. Okay, so my job to you guys and my obligation and what I'm always trying to do is I'm always trying to be a better quarterback because I want to throw that ball accurately to you guys. I don't want to like, you know, throw it where you guys can't catch it. And I want, the good thing about business too, it's not like sports, is I could throw it. There's more than one ball. Like I could throw it all day long. Deliberate opportunity to you guys. Okay, so I'm focused here. Yeah. I want to win. I want to win this game. Okay. What's gonna help you guys get this ball? You guys think? Before you catch the ball, what are you gonna do to get the ball?
You run there?
You run. Right? This is gonna be a football training class. I didn't know. So you gotta be running. You gotta be hustling, right? Okay. So if you're running faster and if you're running accurate routes, then you're gonna get a better chance of the ball getting thrown at you. So this is where your hustle makes a difference. If I see somebody hustling, then I'm gonna be like, okay, here you go. Like I'm gonna pass you the ball because you're open. Now you're working hard. You're running fast. Okay. So the ball's gonna get thrown to you. Okay. Okay. Ball's coming now.
Those shirt are not my eyes.
Okay. So now what are you gonna do here?
Catch the ball.
So this is the whole point of the situation here. What's gonna happen right there? From my personal experience, okay, some of us has hands that are freaking stone. It just literally bounces off of them. I'm just like, okay. And now some of you guys in this room have hands that are made of glue. Even if I throw it a little off, it's caught. So that's my experience with people taking different opportunities. This is an example here that I want to show to you guys that the ball is getting thrown. What are you going to do with it? You take it or you don't. Some people, I throw it to them, they're like, bat it away. I'm just like, what the heck? Like, damn, you didn't want that? It's an incompletion, but at least I see you're trying. So another one will be coming, okay? So I just want you guys to look at your hands, okay, and just think, okay, are my hands made out of stone or are they made out of glue? Okay, because what I want to do is throw balls to you guys catch it cleanly, you guys run, you guys score the touchdown, and that's how we get our stats up. And basically, the scoreboard is basically our bank accounts and our paychecks. Yeah, that's the opportunity here. So let's make sure the ball is caught and we take advantage of the opportunity. You know, there's different moments in agencies, business careers, or in personal people's careers where things happen, where it's like a challenge, and how you respond to that and how you step up or fold, it really determines the next few years. You know, so this was definitely a challenging month for me because of what happened, but we overcame it. Okay, here we are. We're looking forward to the future. So I just want to share with you guys how to overcome obstacles. That's going to be kind of the topic of today's meeting because obstacles are going to happen. Okay. Well, the only way to avoid it is if you're not doing anything. So if you're always working and if you're always trying to get to the next level, then you're going to run into problems. Okay, and these problems are an opportunity for us to learn from them. Okay, so they're gonna come. So how you deal with obstacles? So for our situation, I'll use this as a lot of example today. Is I had some unloyal people, some unethical people, cheating and stuff like that, and it was a problem, you know, because there were some of them were contributors too, and some of them weren't. But it was a problem. But you know, maybe you guys could think of another situation that you're going through personally, a challenge, an obstacle, a problem, and not exactly this wouldn't fit, but these 3 steps I think will help overcome many of the obstacles that you may be going through, or maybe it will help you prepare for the next one when it does come, because that's life, right? It's gonna come. All right, so first thing first, what do you want to do here? What do you guys want to think?
Be optimistic.
Be optimistic, okay? A lot of times when you have a problem, right, you really want to put your attention to what you're going to get out of this problem, the outcome that's a positive outcome. Because a lot of times people will just put way too much emphasis on the problem and then they dwell on it and to get negative and they're just not able to put attention to the solution. They're probably putting too much attention to the problem and you're just going down a spiral. You know, if you're optimistic, oh, this is going to come out of this situation, then you're going to be able to get yourself out of that situation. So being optimistic, being hopeful, and just positive thinking is a big part of it. Any other things?
Being adaptable.
Being adaptable, yeah. Being adaptable, okay. Gotta have a plan and adapt to it. Okay, so we'll get there. Okay, so the first thing I have here for us is to take accountability. Okay. A lot of people don't even get here. When you have a challenge or obstacle or a challenge, a lot of times we put ourselves in that situation. Okay, a lot of people will be like, that's not my fault. It's like blah, blah, blah. Like I could have been like, oh, like they're cheating. Well, it's not my fault. They were cheating. Like, oh, the parents should have taught them not to lie. I could have blamed them. But anytime you're in a problem situation, you want to reflect a little bit and say like, oh, I didn't talk about ethics enough. You know, or I didn't do any disciplinary actions early on enough. I didn't do certain things that I could have done better as a leader. So that kind of sucks to say like, oh, it's my fault. But I'd rather say that because I'm taking control of the situation. So I know next time I'm like, okay, well, if I don't want that to happen, then I'll do this. And I'm giving control to myself So that way, you're actually feeling more happy because you have control over it. If you blame somebody else or the other situation, then you feel helpless because you have no control. You're just a victim of whatever that's happening. You're just like, shit, bad things are keeping happening to me, because you're not taking any accountability and looking at yourself and saying, oh, maybe because I need to switch something up here. So it depends on the challenge, because it could be very, it's very different. Every challenge is a little different. But if you look hard enough, you'll probably find an opportunity where you can grow. For any opportunity, or any challenge you're going through, you'll find something where like, okay, well, this is an opportunity for me to adapt, like you said. But if you don't take accountability, you're not doing that. That's not my fault. It's not my fault. And you just get into a situation where you're not growing. Making excuses don't help anyone except for your ego. Okay, so I could have come up with a bunch of excuses, but I'd rather say I'll take my L. Like, I don't want to give away that L to somebody else. I want to keep my L's because those are my lessons. I made mistakes, I shouldn't have hired that person that already quit. Like, why would I give her another chance? Like, you know what I mean? Or like, there's another one where it's like, red flags all over. I'm just like, oh man, I don't want to go through recruiting, and I don't want to freaking train. It's just like so much work. Like, I'm just like kind of lazy, to be honest with you. Like, I'll tell you that to you guys. I don't like to say that, but I was lazy. Like, person had a bunch of red flags, and I was just like, okay, let's just keep her because, I'm just.
Excuses.
Huh?
She's already here.
She's already here. Maybe it should change, right? I should have, stepped it up and been like, okay, this is unacceptable, and not tolerate some stuff, and then be like, okay, time to make a change. I'm gonna freaking go through the recruiting process. I'm gonna train somebody because it's a lot of work, but I gotta step up to the plate here. But these are some lessons I'm learning. So next time I see something, I'm gonna be like, or sometimes someone's kind of like slacking off. I'm gonna be like earlier on, like disciplining them and stuff like that, or so they're not surprised when I just all of a sudden do it. So there's a lot of lessons I learned. Okay, so if you guys are going through obstacles, number one, take accountability, reflect a little bit. Okay, so you have some opportunity to learn. So number two is to just move on. Okay, people get stuck here too. Okay, just can't move on. We just have to move on, like Laura said. Just have to adapt. It's important to reflect a little bit, but maybe sometimes people take a little bit too much time reflecting and playing victim and be like, oh, poor me. Like, oh, like I hear this from other agents, like, oh, nobody wants to work hard these days. Like, nobody wants to work anymore. Like, or like people go through breakups and they can't move on because like, oh, everybody's like, bad. Every guy in the whole world is bad, or like, you just like play victim, right? So I think it's maybe easier said than done. But for me, what I had to do was get unemotional. Like, it was no time for me to be like, poor me, like, or like, this sucks, or get, thinking emotionally, because you guys would have suffered. Like, I'm pissed off all the time, or like my family would have suffered. Like, what do they deserve for me to be pissed off at them for? So being unemotional is easier said than done, but you got to be unemotional so you could clear your head on what you need to do, because bad attitude is bad for business. So I don't want to go there. Okay, so you just want to move on. All right, number 3, plan and take massive action. All right, so it was time to strategize, and I really want to thank you guys for participating in the recruiting video. If you guys did, okay, that was huge for us. That was clutch for us. It was like one day, Mo was here, and I was like, this is it today. Like, we got to make a recruiting video, and we're gonna find somebody, and that was the plan there. That was the plan, and I was gonna just talk to a lot of people. I talked to a lot of people. I got a lot of resumes, and that was just massive action. That was the plan. I was gonna find somebody. Okay, so just like anything else in life. If you have a difficult situation, you have to strategize, reflect on what you did wrong, move on from it, plan, strategize, and then execute. A lot of times taking action solves a lot of problems. Execute, that keeps me motivated, that keeps me busy, so I'm not dwelling on anything anymore. I'm just moving forward, So that's another thing that, you want to strategize for. I think sometimes people go through some difficult challenges, difficult situations. They actually get into some coping mechanism that's not massive action. Some of these bad coping mechanism when the people are going through difficult times, that they go into drinking. They would just want to get away from it. They don't want to take any massive action. They want to just like blame and then just start drinking because, I could have said I needed to drink last month. But that was not the time, That's not the time to be drinking. Like, this is the time to step it up. a lot of times go through a difficult situation and they just really go in a bad situation. It's like, no, now's the time to step it up and really show you what you're made of, because the world's challenging you. This is really the time to step it up. Now I have a recruiting system I could use anytime, so these are some of the outcomes that we got out of this situation. I have this recruiting system I could just turn on and get a bunch of people now. Okay, I still have a lot of people I could talk to. We found freaking Carrie. She has 8 years of experience in the insurance game. Okay, we found Linda, who's been in Farmers for 3 years. I have all these other people we could talk to. We did 350K. We got America license. I mean, there's so many things that came out of this challenging month. Some of my principles are like, okay, well, I could have been like, well, the bad unethical behavior, maybe next time I won't discipline people because this might happen. It's like, no, I stick to my principles as far as, okay, no, if they're bad behavior has to be corrected a little bit with disciplinary actions. And my principle always is, if someone wants to quit, I'm not gonna chase you. I'm gonna replace you. So those are some of my principles. Hope this helps. If you guys, I'm not sure if you guys want to share anything or if you guys have any challenges that this could work for. If you guys have somebody in your head, maybe think about these 3 steps. Maybe some of us are lucky enough to not have that type of but this applies to business and in life. And I'm just gonna add number 4, okay, a little bonus step here. It starts with an M, but it's not money. Motivation, yeah. Okay, so you use the problem as motivation. Okay, so this is a little contradictory because sometimes I just said move on and I don't get emotional about it. But we're all human beings, so we're gonna get emotional. If there is some emotions involved, I'm gonna use that as a motivation for Field to take more massive action. Okay, so there's a part of me that, motivates me to show them that, for the quitters, they made the wrong decision. And the way I do that, it motivates me to see you guys level up. Like when you guys level up, in kind of a sick way, I get happy because you're leveling up, and then I'm not that I'm worried about their level, but I just like to see you guys leveling up so high compared to other people, the average people or the quitters. Okay, so I just want to talk to you guys about leveling up a little bit. So there's 2 ways to level up that a lot of people look at. Okay, so everybody has buildings, right? So the building, this is like your building. So the building represents like money, happiness, good family relationship, health, all the good stuff I talk about, right? Everybody's building is different, height-wise. That's how life is. Okay. Now, some people, when they kind of compete by trying to bring other people down. Okay, so they'd rather have this building, they'd rather try to destroy this building. By same shit, typical hater stuff. It's because their building, they're so insecure about their own building that they don't feel the confidence that they could improve their situation. So rather than trying to improve their situation, they'll try to destroy other people's. The better way to build a bigger building, to me, is to not look at their building, but to just focus on your own. Just build a bigger building, and then don't even care about what the other small buildings are doing. As a team, this also applies too. I want to talk to you guys about, because other people are building their buildings. So as a team, we want to also encourage each other of building a bigger building. Okay, so sometimes you see it in sales organizations where someone's coming up and they're like, other people are like, no, like I don't want you to, or friends do it to themselves. Like they see someone coming up and like, no, I don't want you to be bigger than me because that makes me feel less about myself. So focus on our buildings, and leveling up is something that I want to do here. Okay, so any ideas on how we could level up? Helping each other out. Yeah, that's a great way. Okay, so office cultures, a lot of organizations have a lot of that. Have a lot of like trying to hold people back. Like helping each other out, helping all of our buildings get higher will consequently make our agency's building way higher. Okay, so helping each other out is a good one. Anything else?
I think sharing like what works for you with other people, because sometimes somebody else might know something you don't.
Nice, yeah. A lot of times when it comes to sharing what works for you, it helps you, like you're actually telling yourself too. So sometimes you tell somebody to do it, you're like, actually, like that's what I should be doing this too. So actually you're helping yourself when you help others, because you're like re-emphasizing the right way to do it. So the best way to learn is actually to teach.
Showing up.
Yeah, just showing up, okay? So leveling up, okay, so some people are here, like if they just increase their attendance from just a little bit, they'll be leveling up. Just increasing the time they're here, is a level up. Communication skills, Some people are really good at talking, and some people we need to level up on our writing skills maybe, or our Spanish skills, or communicating to your teammates, or being able to express your feelings in a healthy way when you have issues to your loved ones or something like that. So communication is a skill, right? So if you're able to be like at this level of communicator, but get to this level of communicator, or even higher, and add different communication styles, methods, that's a great one. Because we are in the communication business. Agent A, Agent B, same exact lead. It's just same exact prospects. It's just how you communicate it is what determines if you get the sale or not. And then how we communicate to them is what determines if clients stay with us or not. It's really, we have nothing else to sell but our communication. Self-awareness is key. Sometimes people aren't really looking at themselves that much. It's like they're not auditing their behavior, or they're not auditing their action. So a lot of times when you're self-aware and that's when you can actually find areas to improve in. Knowing what you're good at, knowing what you're not good at. When you don't know, that's when you're just kind of just floating out there and not showing any improvements. You want to build on your strength, work on your weaknesses, things like that. So self-awareness is key.
Being here and working,
Yeah, activity level, okay. Yeah, we always talk about that, okay. Your hustle determines your salary, so, just energy level. What am I eating, if I'm working out, if I'm sleeping right, if I'm really putting in the energy when I'm at work. So that's a surefire way to level up. For you guys, my ask is to just keep building up your building, okay? Because I genuinely love it. That's what makes me happy. Sometimes, when people try to bring other people's buildings down, once you get a tall building, then you kind of want other people to have tall buildings too. I get a lot of satisfaction, or really I get a lot of joy. I mean, Laura's building and Jazz's building, as high as I get, I freaking have immense pride in that, And in a sick way, I look at some of the quitters building where they're at, because maybe I'm a sicko, but there's a little bit of dark side in that. A little bit of dark side. I'll be honest with you. As good as the guys I promote myself to be, it's not like revenge, but really I like to see you guys succeed, because it just makes me feel like my hard work is worth it. The money is worth it, and to see you guys win, it just gives me a great satisfaction. So I don't think I'm asking you guys to do anything you guys don't want to do. I just want you guys to build up your building, okay? Because that's kind of how we keep this thing going. So, A+ pairs, more stallions here, and then let's all level up for the people around us. Every time I finish the month, I'm happy, but I'm just not satisfied. And I just want to share with you guys that concept, because some people are the opposite. They're unhappy, but they're satisfied. Meaning that they're always complaining, it's not fair, or the government, or whatever. It's just complaining about things, but then the way they're acting is completely satisfied. They're not working hard, or they're not learning, or they're just partying. It's as if they have $1 million in the bank, It's you're acting like you're satisfied, but you're unhappy. So me, I go the opposite way, where I'm happy, I'm very grateful. Kids are healthy, I'm healthy, parents are healthy. Nothing to complain about, really. I mean, great team here, great business. I feel like I live in a free country. There's a lot of good things to be grateful for, but at the same time, it's just weird. I'm glad I have both, because if I was too motivated and unsatisfied, it kind of makes me into a bad person, or not a bad, but an unhappy person, or stressed out person. So I don't want to go that direction too much too. So it's important to balance both out. But that's kind of what I want to share with you guys is, the concept of being happy, but also unsatisfied at the same time. Yeah, today I just want to share with you guys, what is going to keep us motivated. Anybody want to add some things that you guys could share with us about, any tips or things that might help you guys stay motivated? Because, sometimes we come to work every day, it's a whole new month, it's okay, we start over again. So consistency and staying motivated is really important. So that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about today. Anybody have any tips, besides coffee?
Setting goals.
Setting goals.
I always have unrealistic goals, to be honest, but it's at least I get closer to them,
Yeah.
I'll be we're gonna get 4,000 a day, and then or just something crazy like that.
Yeah. That's really good, Blanca, to have big goals like that. I think one of the things about unrealistic goals is that it kind of makes you use your imagination and it kind of makes you more excited about it. Because if you have realistic goals, which are important too, sometimes you're like, oh, if I get that, that'd be nice, but it's not worth going all out for. So if you're like, oh, if I hit that number, then that'd be really awesome. So you need goals to get excited about. So Blanca, that's a really good one. But I want to just share with you guys, okay, how important staying motivated is. Because, everything's fine. I could say everything is fine. We don't have to move. I could just be here and have this team here, and still, everybody could still make more money, and we could still, I don't need another car, or like I don't need like anything, like I don't really need anything really. I feel like I have a schedule. I'm able to work out. I have a good balance, and then I just don't need to like. Why would I go through all the stress of, basically trying to double the size of our agency, stretching my rent up to $20,000 per month. And then, thinking about all the training I have to go through and all the hiring I have to go through and then all the leads I have to buy and like all this, like, it's kind of like stressful if I think about it. Like, why would I put myself through this when everything is just fine? Like, it's just kind of like seems like maybe a risky to me. But to me, I feel like being motivated is so important because you just need another thing to chase for. And I think when you have that, it just keeps you more excited about the future. Honestly, I think it keeps you young because you're just always excited about what's going to happen. And I've had people, friends that made money through real estate or something like that when they don't have anything to do or they don't have the next goal. Even with money, they're just not as fulfilled and not as happy, or frankly, they don't look as good because they're just not as motivated and they're just not excited about what's to come. So staying motivated is really just a blessing in life. It just keeps you just happy, it keeps you young, it keeps you, waking up and then optimistic, and then it gives you a purpose. And I think we all need that. It's all part of being happy, okay? So just want to share with you guys some of the things that helps me stay motivated, and just want to maybe ask you guys, the motivation, what helps you guys keep motivated? And I think one of the important things about motivation that it changes all the time, and it's okay for it to change all the time. For example, like I was really motivated because my mom used to buy me Jordans all the time, and I went to college. She was like, "I'm not buying any more Jordans." You finished high school basketball, that was for basketball, you needed it, and I helped you, but I don't have to buy you top-of-the-line Jordans anymore. So I was like, oh crap, what am I gonna do? So I got a job at a shoe store selling sneakers. Okay. Then it was like, okay, well, I kind of figured like, well, to get girls, I have to have some type of money. Okay, so it was about that, and then there was a time where I just really needed to get that G35. It was like I had to get that car. These are like different motivations that I had throughout my life. Anybody could share any like past motivations you had?
For me to get my first car.
There you go. You need one sense of freedom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hated to be picked up from work or anything else.
Yeah.
And
But
it was not long ago that I got my first car.
oh really?
Yeah.
How'd you get it?
Working.
Working, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I bet that got you jump started with your work ethic.
Yeah, I started working on my credit and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to get my first car.
So it's really important for us to understand, to be able to kind of look into what's going to keep us motivated. It's almost like a research on yourself. Like you really have to figure out what's going to motivate you because you need that. You just can't be coming up to work and being like, oh, nothing's going to change. This is how it is. You kind of need something. So to be able to find your motivation, you really have to really understand yourselves. Anybody else have like maybe current or previous motivation? Like what's a current motivation you guys may have?
I gotta get a house.
Yeah,
There you
me
go.
too.
So that's my motivation.
There you go. Yeah, just like Blanca said, you need a big goal. That's a big one because if you have that goal, then you're going to put you into, you're gonna act accordingly. Yeah, that requires you to save, that requires you to make more money, that requires you to get your license, that requires you to be productive and have good energy and discipline, just everything, responsibility. And so those are great goals to have. And that's a big one that a lot of people should have. And it's a challenging one, but we have people here who have done it. And it's just something that I really strongly encourage for everybody to have as a goal. Anything else? Anybody else?
Pay my debt.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's so important to be aware of that. Because honestly, I feel like a lot of people out there, they don't even know what motivates them. They're just going through the motion. They're just like, okay, I'm just gonna go to work because that's what I'm supposed to do. But there's nothing really inside of them that's driving them. And maybe there is, but they don't even realize it or recognize it or address it. And they're not giving it their best, and they're not reaching their full potential because they don't know. So I want you guys to know, at least ask yourself, like, what's gonna motivate me? And no one's gonna judge you off that, and it could change anyways. Like, mine were stupid stuff before. Like, I wanted this award from farmers. Like, it doesn't really change anything, but at least I got it, and then I'm like, okay, now what's next? So whatever you guys' situation is at life right now, figure out what motivates you. And I'm just gonna share with you guys what's motivating me right now. And is to be able to tell my kids, okay, you can be whatever you wanna be. You can be whatever you want to be, buddy, is what I want to tell them. I don't know how you guys will say it. If you guys have, well, I don't know if you guys have girls, but if you guys say, you could be whatever you want to be, sweetheart, or I don't know, maybe you guys will say, like, you could be whatever you want, mijo, whatever, however you guys want to say it. But I'm not able to say that if they're looking back at me and they're thinking, well, how come you aren't then? I don't want them to be like, well, why are you not reaching your full potential? How come you're not going after it? Like you say, if I work hard, have a good attitude, I could do whatever I want. I don't want them to be looking at me like, well, you're not really doing anything. You're not really going after it. And that would be a terrible feeling for me. Like, I feel like when we go to like recitals or when they're singing or they're playing sports games and I'm watching the kids, have you guys ever noticed that you're only watching yours only?
Yeah.
None of the kids, like, they're like invisible to you. And it's crazy if you think about it, the kids watch us the same way. All these people in the whole world, and then they only care about what you're doing. And a lot of times, what we teach them, it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. And they're looking at us, and then they're figuring us out. And there's gonna reach a certain age point where once you get to a certain age, usually in adulthood, you figure out who your parents really are. Really understand them, oh, they're like that. Okay, that's what they were. They were winners. They really cared about me. All these things, it's gonna finally make sense to them. I don't know, but to me, that happened to me. So I just want them to understand that, hey, I feel like it's my obligation, and I honestly feel like if I'm not doing that, it's a form of like a neglect. I know neglect is a very strong word. I looked it up. It's fail to care for properly, state of being or being uncared for. I would feel like I would be neglecting my kids if I didn't teach them this lesson or I didn't show them this lesson. Like, I honestly feel like, and this is something as all parents, we should tell our kids that, hey, you can do whatever you want. But, if we're not telling them that, that's bad. But if you're not showing them that, that's also bad too. So I want to do my part as a parent, and that's my motivation, is to be able to say that to them. Is that you can really do whatever you want, okay? And then the crazy part where I really conflicted with this, just up to pretty recently, is that, hey, I just hear, or like, some people say that if you work a lot, then you're actually not being a good parent. Or if we spend a lot of time in the gym, like, okay, well, taken away from my kids. But I just figured, like, hey, just from true trial and error, that if I'm just doing really well at work, if I'm getting leads, I come up with this marketing campaign and I spend hours like writing out the script and making the video, and it's hitting. It's really doing well, and we're selling. Or if I'm training somebody and they're new and then they're getting it and then they're doing better. Like, if the business is going well and I'm absolutely killing it financially, I honestly feel like it makes me a better parent. Because it just puts me in a higher spirit. Even with gym too, if I'm like eating healthy and if I'm doing well, like, exercising and stuff like that, it just makes me into a better parent because my energy level is different. And maybe it's because the extent of how much I love myself is increasing, so I have more capacity to give out the love to my kids. So I just want you guys to understand that, people say, hey, if you're working too much, you're neglecting your kids. I think it's the opposite. If you're chasing your dreams and going after it, you're teaching them the best thing to teach them. And in a way, you're showing them how to take care of yourself, how to be happy. And by, going after it and being really good at your job, because I can't sit here and say, hey, you can be whatever you want to be. And then they're looking back at me and say, hey, you're not even good at your own job. So I don't want to be at that situation. So I really want to, kind of walk the talk, if you could say. So yeah, it's all about the kids for me right now, and for you guys, my motivation level. And then maybe if some of you guys are like, well, what if I don't have kids, right? I think it also goes the same way where You could learn a lot from your kids, right? So can your parents. So can your family. I don't care, your uncle. If your nieces, your nephews, if you're just winning in life, I think sometimes with families, there's just different situations you could be in that maybe your family didn't have a history of having somebody that is a true winner. And I think if you show them, and because your parents, they really want you just to be happy. So if you're happy, showing them that you're happy, and then the way you're acting and what you do really does influence families. And then a lot of times you just need that one person in the family, because if there's a successful family, there's a lot of times if you look back at their ancestors, there's a lot of times they weren't successful. And one person came along and changed the whole family around. Usually it's really successful families like that. And then from that person on, it just became a better trajectory for their whole lineage. Okay, so we still have the opportunity to do that. Okay, I would say most of our parents came from somewhere, took a chance to come to this country. I mean, what were the reasons they came here? Better life. Better future, right? They made a sacrifice, I'll feel really uncomfortable if I had to go to China and just didn't know the language and I had to start out all over again. And it'd be really challenging. The sacrifices they went through, it's like our obligation to take advantage of it. And it's a little unfortunate when they have this opportunity to be in this country, this opportunity, they don't take advantage of it or actually even shit on the opportunity. It's kind of unfortunate, but eventually there's going to be someone that stands out in that family, I believe, as long as they're, someone's going to stand out. Okay, so it could be in many different ways. If you're taking care of your health, if you're really healthy, that's going to rub off to your parents too. That's going to rub off to your family, that's going to rub off to your siblings. So even if you don't have kids, you can still do whatever you can to let them know that, hey, I'm working hard, I have the right attitude, taking care of my health, and then that's going to rub off to other people. And that's just a great way I feel that we could do to honor our parents. I don't know, just family is a big thing for me right now, is because I'm trying to figure out what's going to motivate me right now. Maybe it's my kids' age, maybe it's my parents' age as they get older, but I just want them to be proud, I just want them to be happy. And I've been through all these different motivational levels, all the way through different levels, different things, but I could just share with you guys right now that this one that I'm on right now, for family's future, there's no motivation stronger than that for me right now. So I hope you guys could relate to that, because I know many of us are very family oriented, and I just want you guys to take it to the next level with and figure out what motivates you. Everyone's different, but search amongst yourself. Hey, I want to be healthy for my family. I want to be able to take care of my kids. I want to be able to see my grandkids, think long term, and show them that you're not a mediocre person. You're not working at a mediocre place. We're all here to win, and I think there's nothing better we could do for our families than that. All right, so for this meeting, I want to talk about a way we could become unstoppable, okay? Because we are in a situation where we're doing really well. I went to the thing, and then people were like, "Congratulations, you're killing it." Laura's situation too. We have people hitting the best all-time numbers, and we're making more money. And we're just doing well as an agency, even though with these challenges, I kind of wrote this thing out before this happened, so it's maybe a little different. But I just want us to think about, okay, we're doing really well, but sometimes we have to think about, okay, we're in the insurance business, so we have to think about, okay, what do we have to do to make sure we stay this way? Because insurance is something you get to protect yourself from bad things happening, right? And I don't want to have bad things happening to us. Bad things meaning like we plateau or our agency starts going down. I mean, businesses happen where things start going bad and I have to let people go, or just bad things can happen. Business is not always going to be going great, because this is a very rare situation. Our agency is going to hit 15 years, and every year has been better. Okay, so I want to keep going that way, and I want to be unstoppable. So I want to talk about the one thing that we have to be careful about. It's like the invisible enemy. It's what's going to stop us if you don't become aware of it. So what do you think that is? The things that make people, not just businesses, but also individuals.
Like they have fear.
They have fear.
Like, I mean, kind of like today, you kind of get like into a little panic, like, but then you have to remind yourself that.
Oh, okay. Like negativity?
Yeah.
Yeah. Negativity is a real one. You start thinking like, oh, it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad, and bad things are going to be happening. But a little bit of healthy fear is also good too, because we always have to be like, always thinking like, okay, it's good right now, but things could go bad, so I have to like, make sure my mind's right. But I think what we're trying to say is negativity. Yeah, being negative or just being too scared. We're not taking actions. It's kind of something that happens where when you start making money, comfortable is very similar to that. Slacking. Maybe you win some awards. Maybe people will start telling you how great you are. I went to the trip and like people like that I didn't know want to take selfies with me. Like, oh, this has never happened. Okay. Your ego. Okay, that's what I'm talking about with you guys today. Because ego is an invisible enemy. Okay, who wants to describe ego? You're feeling better than everybody else. Okay, it's an unhealthy belief in your own importance. Okay, so can you guys maybe talk about how ego could hurt us?
We won't be open like to learning because you think you're a know-it-all.
There you go. Perfect. Once you start having an ego, then you stop learning. And then you don't want to be trained. Like I already know, like I want to hear it. I already know it. And that's when you start limiting your upside because the more you learn, the more you earn. You're basically stopping yourself from growth. A lot of times when it comes to bad teammates or team issues, most of the time, it just comes from ego. Someone, that this person disrespected me, or I'm better than this person, they shouldn't be getting this or that. A lot of times when there's conflict within an office, it's usually based on ego. Okay, so that's another thing we have to watch out for because, we have to protect ourselves and be aware of that because the last thing we want is people beefing in here and things not working out. So that's why another reason where ego is going to be the thing that we have to really watch out for. Anything else that how ego could be bad? Or have you guys seen anyone get hurt from having bad ego?
Before, a while back,
They lost their job.
they lost their job.
Yeah.
How did ego hurt them?
They thought they were
They,
better.
they never want to take like, they think that it's their fault,
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Take responsibility.
and they just want to do things their way,
Mm-hmm,
lie, be shady,
mm-hmm,
and then think that they're nobody gonna see what they're doing,
mm-hmm,
and then they don't take responsibility for it,
mm-hmm.
so they lost their job.
Yeah. Sometimes maybe they did those actions because they felt like, oh, this place needs me.
Yeah.
So when you have a bigger,
Oh, Dan likes me.
Yeah.
I'm not going nowhere.
yeah, well, that could be that. That's ego. That's because that's not true. People feeling that they are more informed than they really are because we really aren't all that informed. If you really think about it. Okay, and that's how I want to operate and have that mindset here. So that's a great example. There's actually another example since we're
We
going
have a
back.
couple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of
You
times,
think about it,
a lot of times, yeah, if you think about it, a lot of times it's their ego that got them in trouble. Actually, an Asian before Laura that was the Asian of the month every single month.
The top agent.
Oh, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
You told me when you interviewed me.
Yeah, the ego is what really led to her downfall.
And she felt that she can make the decision for you.
Yeah. Compensation plans, she felt like she should be the one deciding who we hire,
Who should get fired.
who should get fired, or just
Giving you like an ultimatum.
giving me ultimatums, Yeah,
Like it's either her or me.
It's crazy, and that's one of the things I want to say how much I appreciate Laura because I think a lot of great salespeople, you kind of need that side of yourself where you have a higher sense of belief in yourself. But ego comes from insecurity where you kind of like not really sure about yourself, you don't really like yourself that much, so you kind of have to boost yourself up from fake, imagination. So a lot of times it comes from insecurity. So to have a top agent with a humility, that's so important because then everybody is going to want to be like that. Okay, and it just builds a great team culture because the problem with Janet was that she just felt that she was so much better than everybody else that nobody really wanted to work with her. So how can I build a big team when the top agent is someone that we don't want to be like or we don't want like working with? I sometimes see when people apply, their ego can't let them take a little step backwards in pay because of the future potential because they feel like, okay, I deserve more right now. It's like, well, you don't even know how to do anything right now. So it's like your ego is getting in your way of getting a good job sometimes. They stop growing. Okay, it prevents us from reaching mastery. If you want to be a master, you have to be a beginner all the time. And that's how I feel about it too. Like, it's my obligation for me to always humble myself because if I start thinking like I'm the shit, then that's really how leaders become bad leaders too. okay, you better do this because I'm the boss, or like, it's not coming from a good place, or a lot of times it's again from insecurity because I don't like myself. I want to put somebody else down so I feel good about myself. Those are really, really bad leaders. It's all about just humility, understanding that, hey, I'm a part of a team here. It's not just all about me. Still be coachable, okay? Because it's such a bad look when someone has such a bad, huge ego when they're really not all that. It's like you think you're so all that, but you're just not. It's just such a bad look. What's a good characteristic with people with good humility? What are they like?
Friendly.
They're friendly. Okay, they have interest in other people because it's not all about themselves. Like, hey, what are you about? Have interest in you. Like, oh, maybe I can learn something from you. So it'll help with customer service, really. Like,
They're open-minded.
Open-minded, very coachable. Very open-minded. They're great listeners. Okay, a lot of times ego. Sometimes like I want to show you what I know. I want to tell you what I know. Everything someone says, like, oh, let me just tell you what I feel about that because my opinions matter so much. A humble person is someone who's, oh, okay, I get how you think about it. That's interesting. Oh, maybe I could learn something from that.
They're helpful.
Helpful? Yeah. Because again, it's not all about them. They want to help other people because they feel like, hey, I want to be able to help other people because then I can serve. They have a really serving type of mentality rather than like, hey, people have to do stuff for me. They're able to adapt to new technology. A lot of times people with big egos, like, this is the way I do it, so it's like, the world has to change for me. It's like, no. The world's changing, you gotta adapt, It's not based on your ideology of how the world should go. The technology is not gonna change for you. It's gonna keep doing its thing. So people with good humility are the ones that are most adaptive. Maybe that's a lesson for us here too. It's like if we had an ego and I was like telling farmers, like, no, this is some BS, you gotta change this stuff. That's what a lot of agents are probably doing right now. That's not gonna help. The humble approach is gonna be like, okay, they're having a hard time staying profitable, so I gotta adapt to new technology or new solutions, and I wanna figure it out. Because I know that we're just one agency out of thousands of agencies, that if we have an overblown confidence about ourselves, then farmers feel like, well, if you don't like it, then, but yeah, right? So a lot of agents get in that situation where they really just overblow their importance to the company because, in the big picture, what we write is so little, okay? And when you're humble, you actually have more of a bigger potential because you actually understand what you actually do right now is so little compared to what we can do. Because if you're thinking like, I'm the shit, we wrote so many policies, then you're gonna actually end up not writing as much because you already think you're great. But if you think like, oh, okay, we wrote 14,000, but the company itself writes, millions of dollars per day, then you're thinking like, okay, what we do in the big scale thing is very small. But that actually gives you more potential and more open-mindedness to be able to think like, hey, we could do a lot more than we can. And then you don't want to get to a point where you're just like, think that you're just whack and you're just like not good at all. Okay, so you want to balance that with a word I'm looking for, which is kind of people think it's similar to ego, but it's not. So instead of ego, what we want to have is what?
Humility.
Humility, yep, and then also combine that with. It's very similar to ego. People think it's the same thing. Confidence.
Yeah.
Okay, so confidence is actually a real thing. Ego is a fake thing. Ego comes from just your make-believe of you're good. Confidence is actually memory of you winning. And then I just want to tell you guys how to be confident, okay? Number one way to become confident is to put in the work. Okay, you put in the work, then you're gonna be like, I know how to do this because I've done it tens of thousands of times before. Put in that years like Laura does, and you just come into work and you just do the actual work. That's gonna make you a confident person because you're actually getting better at your craft. You're getting really good at what you do. So let's make sure our ego is, in check because we're reaching new levels, best month ever, back to back. Okay, because I want to keep going the right direction. So let's watch out for our egos. If you feel ourselves getting bigger checks and doing really better, and I'm the type of leader that says great job, great job, great job, and the actual issues, the problems I've had with other people is that they get that to the head too much.
Also because there's people that can't take criticism.
Yeah.
So if you tell them good job, good job, good job, and then they criticize them.
They take it off personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's just actually my natural leadership style is I want to praise people and I want to say good job, but I think it's important that the person receiving it, because when people say good job Dan, I always say like, try to like push it down. I always try to think like, okay, well, it's not that good. It's not that great. I just say thank you, but in my head, I'd never let it get to my head. Or if I look at the numbers and how far off we are compared to other agencies, and when people get raised, I just don't try to take that in. But at the same time, when people criticize me, it's like, hey, you don't do this, you're actually not that good at it. When I see hate, I don't take that seriously either. So I really try to do a better job of judging myself the way I should, is based on effort, and not let good feedback or bad feedback affect me. And that's a lot of times when people get affected when you have a friend that like kind of like gives you like a little bad criticism, you take it really too seriously or take it too sensitive, or someone tells you you're doing a great job and you're like, okay, well, I'm just gonna call tomorrow off because I'm doing such a great job. There's a really big balance there. Okay, so I want us to keep going in the right direction. So this is a good lesson that I want us to learn, is to stay humble. Okay, be like Laura and put in the work, and that's going to make you a very confident person, and that's so much better than being an egotistical person, is being a confident person. Okay, so we're going to keep pushing here. I'm going to stay positive. We're going to adapt. Watch out for more news as far as what direction we're going to go. But just believe me when I say that I'm going to stay humble. Okay, I'm going to stay a student. I'm going to be, because I want to be unstoppable. And to be unstoppable, you want to think like a beginner. Okay, because when you're a beginner, you're like, okay, how do you do this? Okay, thanks for letting me know how. At a certain level, we all start becoming a beginner. All of a sudden, we're like, okay, I know it all, and that's when we don't start learning the new products and the new ways to do things. Okay, so I'm gonna stay a beginner. I'm gonna stay learning. That way, we could all learn and do better at our profession and have a better financial future for our family. So this month, I mentioned to you guys, I really had some time to think. And just want to write out to you guys my job duties here. I thought about it hard. Okay, so what would you guys say my job here to do is? Here's your chance.
To provide us some work.
Provide us some work, yeah, in the form of?
Phone calls, servicing and leads.
Okay, I like what Kelly said. Okay, the plan. Okay, that is my job is to like not steer us towards the wrong direction. As a leader, I can't just be like, okay, well, everything's fine. I have to pivot and take us to a direction. So planning is a big part. When I say I worked really hard, a lot of it was just me just like thinking for like 2 hours, like just sitting there thinking, or like taking walks and just thinking. It wasn't like hardcore like data entry or like coding, which I had to do some of that too, writing out scripts. But a lot of it was planning. Okay, and what Jason was saying is that you guys could be the best salesperson in the whole world. But if you guys didn't have anybody to talk to in the form of leads, it's like you can't close them. You could do some marketing yourself, and I really encourage you guys doing that in times like this. But I look at my responsibility is to keep you guys busy in the form of leads and training and motivation. There's things, but leads is something that's definitely here. Okay, I'm gonna train and I'm gonna motivate. And I mentioned this is the last group, so I'll talk about this a little bit, the leads. Okay, I just, again, feel so much responsibility for you guys' financial future that I'm looking at the numbers and I've already kind of made a decision that I'm going to try to get the lead volume up. Now, it already wasn't a great financial month for me last month, but I'm willing to make the sacrifice. Okay, because, I have money saved up and it's not like, I'm going to be in like bad financial situation if I don't make money or lose a little money for 1 or 2 months maybe. So that's kind of the plan here to get the leads up here. Okay, so just want to let you guys know that I'm going to try to do my job the best I can because I take my job really seriously. Okay, so let's talk about your guys' job. Start there. Okay, let's be here. Okay, again, it's all about, I don't know. Maybe it's the same thing. What you eat, if you're exercising, if you're sleeping well, just doing everything you can to take care of your body and your mind so you're in a healthy situation and you could be here, I think. Because I don't want to be buying a whole bunch of leads and be like, okay, I've done that before. I buy like a whole bunch of leads. I'm going to step up this lead game here. I'm going to blow this place up. And then Monday, like 3 people call off. I'm just like, okay, back down. Because I just don't want phone calls to be ringing or people not following up on them. And it's just something that a big part of how we work together. To sell, let's close some deals here. I love it. Okay, so that's, sell. So that means working on your skill, working on product knowledge, being coachable, being trainable. Those are all things that helps you sell. There's so many different ways to get better at the sales game, but just make that a commitment. Like, I gotta sell. And then have more energy to be able to do the follow-ups, be sharper, know what to say, take training seriously, and be better at selling. Because, again, if I get a whole bunch of lead volume, but if we're not closing them, then that's just not a good formula. It just makes our financial situation worse where, the investment's not worth it. So, yeah, and then what else?
Customer service.
Customer service, yep. Thank you. Super important now than ever. It's going to get crazy next year because if you guys think like right now, people are like, oh, people are so stupid. Of course, insurance rates are going to go up. Well, wait till next year. They're in for a surprise.
Is it going to go up a lot?
It's going to go up a lot. California hasn't had a rate increase since 2020.
Oh my god.
And that's the whole reason we're in this mess. I don't want to get political or anything like that, but the government is like, okay, we got to protect the consumer, so we can't raise rates. Sorry, guys, we can't raise rates. Well, if you can't raise rates, then the companies are going to back out of California like Geico did because this is BS. We don't want to sell insurance and lose money. I mean, Jazz got in an accident yesterday. Judah got in an accident earlier this month. Accidents are happening like crazy. Okay, the traffic is getting worse, and the used cars prices are 40% higher. The rates weren't calculated with the used cars prices going up. And then there's inflation in car parts and, when people get hit and, loss of earnings and just lawyers getting more aggressive and stuff like that. There's just so many things that makes it, business is supposed to be an open market where businesses are allowed to make changes based on circumstances. But with a highly regulated government, which California is, not letting us do that, we're in this mess where companies don't want to do business in California anymore. Now, I'll tell you, luckily for us, we were with Farmers Insurance. And Farmers Insurance started 94 years ago in California, in LA. Okay, so since we started there, we're committed here. Meaning that State Farm and Allstate, they started in Illinois. So a bunch of companies in Ohio. Bristol was started in Florida. We bought them out. But a lot of companies are more like East Coast. There's not that many big West Coast insurance companies, and Farmers is there. And 40% of everything we do is in California, and most of it is more west. But if Farmers is so committed and has so much policies in California, they're not going to be like, okay, let's not non-renew everybody because it's like you literally can't afford to do that. We're too big here. So that is something that I feel better about the company that we're with because we're committed to being in California. So yeah, next year, okay, customer service is going to be very huge because it's hard to rewrite.
When did we get here?
I don't know, how do we get here? Like, what are they talking about?
Increase next year.
Yeah, customer service is going to be super important. We can't rewrite people as easy anymore. And insurance companies kind of look at like people who get rewritten. Those are the type of people they feel like make a lot of claims. Because like, well, I got an accident. Let me just rewrite myself. So they want to kind of avoid that situation. So helping them like, hey, let's have a consistent history or consistent insurance here because we want to keep insuring people. Because it's going to get more and more difficult for people who kind of go off, come back on all the time. And truthfully, they take a lot of customer service, and people who aren't like that make our job easier too. But that's our book of business, and we're going to have empathy, and we care about everybody that are insured with us. So customer service, definitely. Jason, glad you brought that up. That's another one. One last one. Your job here is to have a great attitude, which you guys have. I really don't want to just like not make a big deal about that. I really just appreciate you guys coming in here and just having a great attitude. Okay? I mean, it just, you guys didn't cause me any drama. Nobody was beefing with each other. No one was really complaining, and we just had a great attitude. So that's kind of your job. So I wanted to make sure I do my part of my deal here. Okay, so we're going to give this a try. Do this part, and I think we're going to get through this that way too, amongst other things. Yeah, I just want to share with you guys one other thing here. I was on a podcast, and they asked me like, hey, a lot of times, how you are is kind of how the agency is, and what you value, what's most important to you, is kind of how your agency is. So he asked me like, so what are the two things that you value the most, and what is your agency like because of that? So two values, and I was put on the spot there. And I think it was kind of cool that I went through that mental exercise, because that actually made me really simple down what we're going through a little bit more. Because we want to get back to the fundamentals sometimes when things are so complicated and there's so many changes going on. So what do you guys think I said?
Like employees?
Working hard, one for sure.
There you go. Okay, that was it. Okay, I said I'm a hard worker. Maybe a DNA thing. Maybe it's just because I saw my dad. But I just believe in that. You know, I think when you're working hard, the people that stay here are generally the people that believe in, like, we have the same values. Like, people who don't believe in that usually don't work out here. You know, it's just like, oh, I didn't know it's going to be this busy. It's like, okay, well, you know, it doesn't work out because they didn't have the same values. But I value this because I do believe this actually even makes you a happier person, because we talked about it here. You're doing all the right things, and it just makes me a better, you know, parent. It makes me a better husband. It makes me a better son. It just gives me more energy in life to do things that I want to do. So if you want to be a hard worker, because you can't be sick and hurt and being great at sales or making a lot of money. You know, so being a hard worker is not only for financial reasons, but it's for just really happiness reasons, because you're going to be taking care of your body more. You're going to be, you know, making sure you're strong, not only physically, but mentally too. And it's just overall, it just helps in so many ways. So I just really believe in this, guys. And I just believe that's what our team is all about. We're a hardworking team. And I'm really proud to be able to say that in the podcast. I was like, we are. I really feel, I mean, who works on July 4th? America did. And then Saturdays, every Saturday, I haven't missed any Saturdays until I had Corona. I couldn't wake up. I didn't know what the heck was going on. That was the only Saturday I missed in like the 15-year history of our agency, probably. So I take pride in that, and you guys should too, that you're able to hang at an agency that works really hard. Okay, what's number 2? This one was a little harder one maybe for you guys. Kind. You guys are like, really?
I know.
I like to generally consider myself as a kind person, okay? And I let you guys know that, you know, there's a lot of reasons to be kind. Okay, first of all, it's free. Okay, customer calls in, you get a lead. You're not losing anything for being kind. Like, you're not, what is there to lose? Like, you're not like paying them money. It's like, it's free to be kind. Number 2, it's good for business. Okay, so I like to think about, and I think I naturally am a kind person. I get that from my mom's side, actually. But being kind actually makes you make more money. It's crazy. Like, people are, the jerks, the meanest people are the ones that make the least money. If you're kind, you're helping, trying somebody out, and then they sense that. Like, oh, this person is not trying to sell me. This person's trying to help me. You can do the customer service. Oh, okay, I'm going to stay with this person. I'm going to give them a referral. It's crazy how good it is for business. And luckily, it came natural to me, and then also kind to each other. It's just better to be nice to each other, co-workers, staff members, employees. And then also during times like this, I would say when numbers are down and there might be more stress and stuff like that, at the end of the day, I just feel good about myself because I know what my intent is. Like, even though the numbers maybe aren't there, it's like I have no guilt going to sped, you know, because I'm just like, okay, well, I know I want to help out my employees. I try my best and try my best for my clients. And you just kind of end up being more kind to yourself. Your self-image kind of improves because you're like, well, I'm a nice person, so even though my numbers aren't good, you know, it's all good because I'm a nice person. And I think that these 2 things leads to happiness. So I just want to share with you guys that, yes, you know, sometimes you get the same customer. It's like, why do my rates go up? Like, you know, all this stuff, customer service could just get, you know, explain the same thing over and over again. It's like, they still don't get it. And it's just like, you know, you guys are in the front lines. You guys are talking to the clients, you know. So as difficult as it could be, or it could be the same lead, or some people are cheap, or some people are just rude. But I do want to just overall just let you guys know, because when I first started selling insurance, man, I was the nicest person. If someone called me, I was like taking the calls, taking all the time that they needed. Just being nice has built. And then when I had my first employer, I was like, let me just be as nice as possible to this person. It just came natural to me, and it has paid off for me. We're a hardworking and kind group. And that's what we have to kind of focus on. Even though when times are tough, especially when times are tough, we have to go back to our basics and just remind ourselves, how do we get here? You know, I mean, just a little asterisk. Sometimes this could, you know, backfire if you go too much, just the right amount. And then kind to the right person. Yeah. Maybe like somebody like wanted to borrow money from me, like a friend. Like, you know, sometimes I have to, you know, I don't. Those are principles. I'm like, no, like work harder, get overtime, sell something. Come on. You know, I actually feel like I'm being nice telling them that, than just giving them money. Or, you know, if a friend just wants to just party and just using me to just drink, be drink partners and stuff like that, you know. So you got to be nice to the right person. I would say I'm nice to people who I make money with. I've always been nice to coworkers. I've always been extremely nice to clients and also family members, people who take care of your kids, stuff like that. Just like being nice to the right people. You do have to, like, you know, watch out who you're nice to. But business-wise, it's really good for business. It's going to help us make more money. So I just want to let you guys know the big picture of what we're like, because as we go through these challenges, what's going to get us through is we're going to keep working hard and treat people the right way. That's going to get us to the next level. So I really appreciate you guys for having the right attitude last month. Okay, this month, we'll see what happens, but we're definitely going in the right direction. Sometimes changes, they don't happen overnight. We have to keep working on it. But it's going to be a new era. I'm really excited for new things to come. I got a lot of things in the pipeline here, and I'm going to be working harder than ever for you guys. So I'll do this, and then you guys will do that, and we're going to be going in the right direction. And this month, okay, to end out this meeting, I want to talk to you guys about 3 things, okay? So one of the things is what I learned in Texas from my experience there. It was a great experience. I want to also talk about my vision for our agency in the future, and then how to increase sales, because we always have to talk about that, right? So 3 things I learned in Texas. It was just a crazy experience. It was just mind-blowing. I put out these videos. I just had no idea what the amount of love I was going to get. You know, it was just people coming up to me, and they were wearing their Jordans and stuff like that. They were like, hey, check these out. And they were like, hey, you know, guy, you got your car back. And they were like, hey, you actually, watching your videos made me want to become a farmer's agent. You know, one day my goal is to become a guest on your show. And then just a lot of love that I got. But 3 things I learned from there, okay. Number 1 is be really proud of where you guys are right now, okay? Because sometimes you guys come to work and you guys think this is normal. We're writing these numbers here, Laura does this, and then like we're in this office. And it just comes routine, kind of like taking things for granted from previous relationships we talked about. But from the outside world, we're doing something very special. And I want you guys to understand that perspective, because I wouldn't be in that position to get all that love and recognition if it wasn't for you guys. But we're doing something very special here. It's very extraordinary, the numbers that we're writing. And I just want you guys to know that, and thank you guys for being in the position we are right now. And what's crazy is how exciting our future is looking. Okay, not only be very proud of what we've accomplished, but be excited about what we are going to accomplish next. So give it up for yourselves, because I really want you guys to understand that we're doing great things here. Go ahead, please. Yeah, sometimes you guys may not see that, okay, because maybe it's routine. And what you guys doing are repetitive, but it's very special what we got going on here. Number 2, the power of social media is something that I believed in so much. That's how we grow our agency. That's how we get our leads. So I believe in it, and I'm making videos every day, and I've been, you know, I just believe in it, right? But as much as I believe in it, I've actually underestimated it, because I just didn't know so many people are going to be like, you know, they know about me. So in sales, it's all about being known, because if they don't know you, they can't buy from you. So I just want to share with you guys the power of social media. Even from where we've gone here, we still don't understand the power of it. I've underestimated. That's what I learned. So I'm going to put more effort into it, put ourselves out there even more, because some of you guys out there are doing a great job of putting yourselves out there and getting natural references. So, you know, what you guys do with your social media is totally up to you. I'm not going to be like, you know, enforcing it. But if you guys put yourselves out there, letting you guys know you're in the office, working hard in insurance, it is a great way to get more sales. And being known is the first step of getting sales. It's a great way to get referrals. But I just want to share with you guys, encourage you guys to use social media as a tool to get more sales and do more business, because it has completely changed my career around, our agency around. And I just want to share with you guys that there's going to be more emphasis in that, so we're going to be making more videos and really using that as a tool to grow our agency. All right, and number 3, what I learned there is that with all the love that we get, you know, that I got there, that I need to make sure my ego doesn't get out of control. I got to check my ego, but we talked about in the past where people say, hey, you're doing great things, I love you, thank you, and then it's unbelievable and stuff like that. When I hear that, I'm telling myself, like, this is BS. Like, this, I'm not going to take this seriously. Thank you, but I believe I could do better, and I just don't want to get ever in a situation where I think, like, I'm the shit. Okay, because as soon as I think that, then you turn into shit. So, you know, as an agency too, as much as I said, hey, you guys are doing special things, I also want you guys to think, and if you're doing great things, and if you made more money than you ever have, we also want to have control our ego. We're thinking like, okay, well, I'm still there to learn. I'm learning from you guys. Like, this is a great conference. I'm writing down notes. And I just want to say like, hey, thank you for bringing the energy. Your enthusiasm is great. And I want to learn from you. I want to learn from these other speakers. And I want to be coachable. I want to be trainable. And I want to study the game. Because I could just feel the danger of it, of the trappings of getting recognition and getting a little bit of success, how dangerous that could be. On the flip side, I also want to know that, hey, if I get a little hate, because when you put yourself out there, you're going to get that. Some hate, some criticism, some coaching. But when I get that I'm going to have the humility to understand, like, hey, maybe what they're saying is true. Maybe I could learn from them. If I'm doing this wrong, thanks for the free advice. And also have the confidence to be like, okay, well, I could learn from that. So same thing as being coachable. If you guys are starting doing well, someone else says things, to not have your ego, don't take things personal. I think that's such a big part of our progression moving forward, that if you're doing great, and I like to say you guys are doing great, but still don't, let it get to your head and still have the humility to understand that, hey, I could do better at all times. So yeah, and thank you guys for taking care of the office. I think that Wednesday I was on stage, you guys sold 30 policies and $30K in premium. So that was incredible. So I really want to appreciate you guys for letting me go out there and learn and then also share with other agents and do a good, try to help out others too. So the vision here that I have, okay, what's coming up with our office here?
New office.
New office. When are we moving? January 1st, okay. So that's only in 4 months. Yeah. Crazy. 2023 already. What are some monthly goals maybe we may have? 500K. Okay, so we're going to be writing 500K. But I just want to put it out there for the first time ever, because we're going to be there for, 7 years. What goals I have as far as premium goes, and for the first time, I want to let you guys know that our goal is to write $1 million a month. What do you guys think about that?
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible. Thank you, Kalia. Yeah, it's a crazy number. I get it. Okay, but who here is going to be retiring in 5 years? Within 5 years? No sugar daddies? No. So my whole thing is, okay, if we're going to be working anyways, let's have some things that excite us. Because last thing I want is to go through life not excited about the future and not have any hope. That's how you end up on the couch with a huge gut with a little bank account, is when you don't have excitement in your life. You don't have anything to look forward to. So if we're going to be working anyways and working hard for our families, then might as well have something that we're excited about. And I'm really excited about this. Okay? And I'll show you guys how this is going to be possible. Because 5 years ago, what year was it? 2017. What did we write? Do you guys know?
For the year, for the month?
For the month, yeah, August 2017. 90K? Laura's about to do that herself. Laura was the agent of the month back then at 28K. Jazz was 26K. Blanca was at 13K. But somebody else actually was third place. This is an outstanding agent. I think...
Still here?
Yeah, still here. This agent, if this agent wanted to be, this agent would be the top agent in this office.
You.
Huh?
You.
Yeah, it was. I'm just kidding. I can't outsell Laura. But yeah, I had the 15K. Okay, so things have changed, right? Because now it's 2022, and what do we do is 373, yeah. So from here to here, that's a 4 times increase. We 4x our numbers. Okay, so if you 4x 373, what is that in 2027? 5 years. That's 1.5 million. Okay, so we've done it before. We grew our agency 4 times. It's not like looking at our past, it's not like, oh, this is a different trajectory. Okay. Another thing to hear me out to make sure this is something that's achievable for us is that right now we have 11 agents. We have 11 agents that are licensed that are selling insurance. Our average is $37,000 per agent. Okay, so I feel like with more leads and better lead management, more referrals and things like that we could get our average up to 40K. So if you get to 40K per agent, then we're going to need 25 agents to get to $1 million. And this new office upstairs, it holds 32 staff members. Not everybody's not going to be licensed, but if you have 25 agents, then we could hit $1 million a month. Makes sense? So that's my vision. Okay. Now I'm making it sound easy, but I just want to share with you guys that's doable, and I'm really excited to be able to do that. And for us to be able to do that, these are some things we have to do. So number one, we need more social media. Okay, we need to make more ads. We need to, make more reels, take more pictures, and more stories and things like that. I feel like, again, because of what I learned over there, on my personal branding side, which Eric is helping us out with, we're doing where to go. With the agency side, we're doing one picture a day, and it's like, it's not the same. So we need to make more footage of ourselves and get people to know who we are. So right now, what I'm looking for is a social media manager. Okay, so this person is going to post a lot and do stories and things like that. So anybody interested in becoming a social media manager? Okay, that's okay. We're gonna be hiring 2 new people, and who knows what their roles will be, but we're gonna find out. That's the position we're eventually gonna fill. All right, and then another thing we have to do is more recruiting. Okay, there's only so much recruiting I could do, so the recruiting position is going to be a situation where it's going to be used through Keep, and I do this myself. I text people if they fill out forms and stuff like that, but I want somebody else to be sending out the text, someone else to actually make the calls, because I don't call people, but someone could make the calls, talk to them a little bit, get to know them a little bit, and if it's a better fit, actually do a video meeting with them, and if that's a good fit, then they finally introduce them to me, and they'll get compensated off how many interviews they set up and how many hires they get. Okay, so there's going to be a recruiter position. And there's going to be a training position too. Okay, so the training position is going to be a position where now we have a hire, and this trainer is going to be helping them out with, okay, this is how you toggle. Very important here. Wow. This is how you use Keep. This is how you provide A+ customer service. This is how you work on your list. Okay, some of the basics of customer service. And this trainer will get compensated off getting that new hire licensed. Okay, once they get licensed, they'll get a bonus, because once they get licensed, they kind of did their job there. Okay, maybe the recruiter could be the trainer too. And then lastly, we talked about this, there's going to be leaders in this office here. Okay, so once they're licensed, they'll be assigned a leader. And the leader is the person who is going to teach them how to do sales, how to stay positive, how to talk to people, how to cross-sell and combine the billing, and how to write the mobile homes and stuff like that. And the leaders will make a percentage of the agents that are underneath them. And this is my vision to get people like Laura and Jasmine making over $200K a year, because there's only so much sales you could do. But if you have 5 agents underneath you and they're writing $40K each, and that's $200K, and you get a percentage of that, that's going to add up to big numbers here. So my job is to always make sure people have the ability to make more money here. And sales is definitely the way. But now if you're also doing sales training and responsible for getting these 5 people trained up, and if they're late or something like that, do a little bit of disciplinary stuff, or like making sure they're getting it, I think that's a huge value to me. And then, we'll probably start off with 2, but there's going to be 25 agents, and I'll probably have 5 myself maybe, but eventually there's 25 agents, and the most one leader could handle is 5. Maybe some leaders could handle more, but that's going to be 5 leaders. But to become a leader, you have to have good attendance. Okay, I just don't feel it's right if we have a leader that doesn't have good attendance. Right? They have to be respected. Because you have to be a leader, you have to have leadership skills where people respect you, like you, listen to you. You also have to be knowledgeable. Okay, which also makes sense. We're never going to have somebody brand new become a leader at this office. You're probably going to have 3, 5, plus years of experience to become a leader, because you not only do you need to have knowledge, but you also need to have sales training skills. You need to have the patience, and you need to know what you're doing to become a leader. So those are the things I'm looking for. But I want people to level up in this business. So I just think that's the next step that I'm gonna next position for some of us, because I always want us to be excited for the future. Okay. All right. So lastly, how to get more sales. Last tip here. Okay. So let's see here. I want to do a little presentation here, or a little quiz. Can you guys see this? Okay. So first we got the nickel, right? And then we have the dime. And then we have a quarter. Okay? So Bob's mom has 3 sons. Okay? One of them's name is Nicholas. The other one's name is Demetrius. What's the third son's name? First person, roll to win. Understanding this concept will help you with sales too. Really make you a lot better salesperson. No one? One more time. Bob's mom has 3 sons, okay? Mm-hmm. One's name is Nicholas. The second one's name is Demetrius. What's the third son's name?
Bob.
There you go.
I don't get it.
Why is it Bob?
But why is it Bob? Bob's mom has 3 sons. Bob is one of the sons.
Let's give it up for Maria. Okay, the reason I want to share this story with you guys is when it comes to sales, a lot of people are like, what do I say? What do I say? What do I say? What do I say? right? The key to sell is to really, really listen to that person. Because sometimes you're thinking, oh, they want to save money. They just want to save money. They're just cheap. They just want to save money. You're just thinking before really listening to them. So the key to sell is to ask the right question and really, really listen. Okay, I think Laura does a great job of this. If she's on the phone trying to get a sale, you can't even like get her attention because she's so zoned in on what they're saying. And by listening to what they're saying, you're going to be able to say what they want to hear. And some people, it's hard to get them to talk, so you got to ask the right questions. So next time you guys are on the phones, I really want you guys to be listening for these cues that are almost like trick questions. They're really saying that, but their tone of voice or how long they took to say stuff is going to give you the idea of what they're really thinking. Or maybe the way you ask the questions, or maybe your personality is going to get them the truth out of them, and you're going to be able to get sales when sometimes you're assuming we can't get it, or sometimes you're just thinking, oh, like what's the right answer because you're looking at it the wrong way. Okay, so really, really listen to what they're saying, and that's going to be the key for us to getting more sales. So I just want to share with you guys that. Okay, but before I end this meeting, I just want to share with you guys one more time. Okay, this very moment is the moment that we can make more money than we ever had in our lives. You never know when things are going to change. Things could change, and we're going to be like, oh shoot, I regret it. I'm manifesting that right now. Like it has worked, right? You know, when we wanted more homes, we got more homes all of a sudden. So I'm manifesting the $1 million a month, I'm manifesting more money for us, but I also want to be realistic and know that underwriting changes may change next year, things could change. So the opportunity is there, then we're going to be able to take more advantage of it if we understand it and if we feel fortunate and grateful for it. Because the opportunities come to a lot of people, but they don't understand it. If they're not thankful for it, they don't take advantage of it. So let's understand that we're in such a great position right now this month and moving on forward, and with the plans for bigger things to do. I just want us to have a great month, best month ever, and then build on momentum for 2023 so we could keep getting it. All right, cool. So let's talk about attendance, all right? So attendance we're going to have to talk about here because as 466 was great, the only reason I feel like we could get to 500 is because our attendance was terrible. It was the worst ever. It was 82%. We have 14 people here, and again, because I'm such a math whiz, I could calculate that on average, 2.3 people miss a day. And these were not vacations. You know, some months are like that. These were call-outs, getting sick, and stuff like that. So that's an area that we need to work on to improve, so I want to go over how we can improve them. Anybody have any ideas? Health. It just comes down to that. Okay, so we're going to talk about a little bit about health. But a couple other things that I want to talk to you guys about is, number one thing that will help you guys with attendance. What has helped me is understanding the opportunity. Okay, last month I said this very moment is the moment we can make more money than we ever had in our whole careers. And that's true. Okay, the commission checks is $43,000 I'm paying out in 1 month, and that doesn't include the base. That doesn't include everybody's role because some of you guys haven't even finished your roles. So we're going to add to that probably today. Paying $43,000 out. Okay, there's other businesses right now like real estate, I would have to say, that is not in a good situation right now. And we live in a place where we could make money. Like we could be at a third world country. I'm not sure if you guys been to one, but there's areas in the world in the third world country that it does not matter what time you wake up. It does not matter how great of an attitude you have, how well you get along with your boss. It does not matter how hard you work. You're not going to have the opportunity you have here. And not only you live in a country that gives you opportunity, you work in an industry that's in a great situation, and you're in a job that has opportunity because, I don't know, I'm not sure where you guys last worked, but where you guys, if you go back to your previous job, was there anybody making $10,000 there?
No.
The boss.
We have somebody, real life example of somebody that you could talk to and mimic, literally like copy what two of them making $10,000 an hour and see what they've done and what they do on a daily basis and just copy them. You could do that, okay? And then, there's other jobs where literally you could be there for 5 freaking years and be on your best behavior, never miss work, and you'll get a raise and you'll get assistant manager, you'll make $25 an hour. This is not that type of job, and once you understand that we have an opportunity, that's when you actually value it more, and when you understand it more, you appreciate it more, and then you'll take advantage of it more. So I just want to show you guys what the opportunity is, because once you understand that, then you really go harder than you are maybe right now. Okay, and number 2 is accountability. Okay, and this is something that maybe not sound great to say, but I hate the term. It is what it is. I just don't have a good immune system. My kid doesn't have a good immune system. It is what it is. Because when you say that, there's just no control. Because maybe your excuses are true. Maybe that is true. But once you say that, nothing changes. But once you take accountability and say, hey, it's actually my fault, then you're going to find ways to improve. I was going through my phone. And you know how it's like Instagram stories like shows you like what you posted like 4 years ago? It was my face. I was like, I can't believe I posted this. But it was huge. I always say, but I can't believe I was doing it back then. So I actually sent it to my wife. And I was like, look, I got stung by a bee today. And she's like, oh my God, what happened? I was like, that was my face back then. Back then, 2018, I was having some gout issues, which is inflammation in my knees. And I literally would miss work because I couldn't get in my car because I couldn't bend it and I was in so much pain. And I could have just said, hey, it is what it is. This is just genetics. It's my ancestors' fault. I could have just said, it's not my fault and blamed something else. But what I did was I looked in my mirror and I lost 30 pounds since then. My waist size was a 34. Now I'm a 30. And I made some changes that you guys wouldn't believe. First of all, I don't drink anymore. Who could do that? Because I knew that drinking is bad for gout because of inflammation. So that was a sacrifice I made. Another thing I gave up was basketball, which is my childhood love. I loved playing basketball, but it was too hard on my joints. And whenever I played basketball, that's when my joint inflammation got worse. So I gave that up. That was very difficult for me. I gave up fried food. I gave up sugar because of inflammation. I have ice cream once a year when I'm in Hawaii with my family. And I love freaking ice cream. So I'm just telling you guys that when you take accountability, you make changes to yourself. And when you make changes to yourself, when you make improvements to yourself. So there's going to be different ways that you guys will maybe want to think about. Hey, I got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I got to make improvements here because of my future. And these are hard conversations you have to have with yourself. But the hard conversation you have to have with yourself is when you really show yourself the most respect. Because you guys have friends and family members that you're messing up, but they don't want to tell you because they don't want to hurt your feelings. But some family members and some friends will actually tell you even though it hurts your feelings because they actually love you. That's how you need to be to yourself because you love yourself. You got to tell yourself, hey, you're messing up right here and I need to get better at this. And that's how you make improvements in different areas in your life. So take accountability, have responsibility. I feel so much responsibility. The only reason I did that is because I feel responsible for my family. I didn't want my kids to think I'm a fat guy going to like these picnics and like, they're like not even proud of your dad and they don't think they're cool and stuff like that. And just like, and just being hurt all the time and not being able to run around with them and then be in a bad mood because I'm in pain because I come to work and then now you guys are making less money and now your guys' family are hurting because of because I want to, I don't know, just drink and gamble all the time. So these are the type of things that once you take responsibility, accountability, and doing it at least for yourself, but if not, for the people around you. All right, cool. So understand opportunity, take accountability, and those are the ways I like to see our attendance go up. So to close out this meeting here, I want to talk about just like we talked about with Laura. Okay, I want to share with you guys how to get where you want to get here. The great thing about this world is that there's so many successful people out there. Tons of them. And you could research them. And so this one company did. They researched all the successful people, mega successful people, and they found out what are the patterns, what are they all like. Because it wasn't all the same. Like it wasn't like they all woke up early. Some of them actually stayed up late and worked at night. Some of them, they were like, oh, they all don't drink like soda. And some of them did. There's like so many different variables, right? But they narrowed it down to these 3 characteristics that made all of them where they are right now. So I'm going to share with you guys those 3 so you guys can work on these 3 categories because I think it's just easier. Just like while we have Laura here, we could just copy her. We could look at other successful people and see, oh, that's how they did it. That's what they're like. And just mimic them, and we're going to see success ourselves. So this is going to be a hard one, but you guys want to take some guess to what these characteristics were, these successful people that, not these successful people, all successful people had these 3 main characteristics.
Persistence.
Persistence.
They exercise?
They exercise, yeah. That actually wasn't in them, but I bet they do. But it wasn't in there. They're a little bit more broader ones, so I'll start with the first one, okay? But persistence is so important. That it really is. And then exercise is so important too, Jason. I totally believe in that. And we'll talk about those 2 things too, actually. Because it's part of these 3 things. Okay, one of them is that they have a superiority complex. Do you guys know what that means?
They think they're better.
They think that they're better.
At the same time.
Yeah. Thank you guys for bringing the participation. They think they're better. Okay, I'm not sure if it's a good thing or bad thing, but that's just what the statistics showed. Okay, they just believe that they're better than the average person, and they just maybe that's how their parents raised them by telling them that, or maybe it's DNA. But all these successful people all thought they were better than everybody. They're highly competitive. They did not want to lose to other people, and they just thought that they're better than everybody. They deserve more, and that's just what they believed in. They don't want to be like everybody else. Like average people want to be like everybody else. Even if they're wrong, they'd rather be wrong with everybody else than be right by themselves. So the successful people, they don't want to be like everybody else. They want to be better than everybody else. Like when I was first started my business, it was a office smaller than this, but I was an agency owner. I didn't have my own office, and I came in. There was other agency owners there. This is where new agency owners started, and they were like, "Okay, on Fridays after lunch, we don't work." I was like, "Well, go ahead. Like, I'm not gonna be. I don't want to be like you guys. I want to be better than you guys. Like, obviously, you guys don't have the work ethic because I want to be writing a bunch of policies. And what do you guys go home after Fridays? Like, I don't want to be in your crew. Like, go ahead." And that's something that's really important, guys, because you have to believe that you're better than everybody. And the worst excuse is everybody else does it. That's the worst excuse. Sometimes I'm like, hey, you need to get on the phones more, or hey, you need to be on time, or hey, you need to work less, get your attendance up, or you should. And when people say like, well, this person doesn't come to work, or this person doesn't answer the phone, it's like, what does that got to do with you? You want to think that you're better than somebody and not be like everybody else, like Judith did when everybody else around her was acting a certain way. She probably thought she's better than that, and she knew she was better than that, so she didn't act like everybody else. And that's so important because self-belief is really where it all starts. Anybody need help in that category? I love it. I do look for that when I look for you guys. When I go through this interview process, I do look for people that believe in themselves and could speak up for themselves and could have that confidence. And I just want to share with you guys, okay, if you guys do have a little bit of, or everybody can have more self-belief, so I want to give you guys 2 tips. Okay, if you ever catch yourself doubting yourself, or if you're not sure, these are 2 tips that will help you have more believe that you're better than everybody. Okay, 1 is keeping promises to yourself. Okay, when you keep promises to yourself, you're going to believe in yourself. Meaning, I said I'm going to work out today. I did that. That's a promise to yourself. Okay, I'm going to persist in something, and I'm going to not give up till I do it, and you do it. That's something that you kept a promise. I'm going to get my license. I'm going to hit 50K. I'm not going to miss work this month. These are promises that you make to yourself, and it's so much more important than the reputation other people have of you is the reputation you have of yourself. And once you have history of keeping promises to yourself, you're going to be believing yourself, because next time you tell yourself something, yeah, I'm going to do that because I did everything else. Now, once you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, then you're going to, next time you make a goal, you're going to be like, oh man, you're just full of shit. Just like the other goal you had. So keeping promises, once you have this target and you do it, those are great ways to make yourself believe in yourself more. And number 2 is you got to start winning. Very similar, but once you start winning, then you have experience of that. So you know that you have prior history, and that's where having experience helps. And getting older kind of helps is that you have history that, hey, I went through that was difficult, but I did that. And you're going to have history, and you can go back to things when things don't go right to know that you could do it. So if you're not winning, you got to start winning as soon as possible, because once you start winning, that's just like Laura's confidence goes up and up. At a certain point, it's going to keep going up because you stacked all these wins, these little wins, and you're going to make yourself believe in yourself so much more than if you're don't have a target and you're just going flat your whole career. Okay? So that's what all they had. And number 2, what they had, okay, it's kind of opposite of this. What do you guys think?
Humility?
Humility, yeah. But
That doesn't make sense. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. How do they think they're better than others, and then they humble themselves?
Because
Yeah.
they check themselves, probably. They're probably like, oh wait, I'm good, but
that's exactly it. It's crazy. It's such a contradiction, but they have a fear that they're inferior. Isn't that crazy? It's the exact opposite, right? Mm-hmm. But they have that. And Laura will tell you all the time, I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to go backwards. A lot of what drives her is like security. Like, I want to make sure I'm good. And I have that. Like, I literally think, like, if I don't come to work, things are going to fall out. Like, everything's going to go wrong here. Someone's gonna do something, and one of you guys gonna get in a fight, or like someone of you guys gonna break the rule, and then farmer's gonna find out, and they're gonna fire all of us. Like
Oh my God, Dad.
like I go there, okay? But that fear, I'm not sure if it's healthy, but I'll tell you guys a story too, okay? I was having dinner because I came home a little bit early, and they had late soccer practice, the kids did. And I was having dinner, and they came home, and the kids were like, "Hey, Dada," and I was like, "Hey," and like, "How's your day?" They were like, "Great," and they were like, "Hey," Derek was like, to Kyle, "Hey, Kyle, what's two times 4?" And Kyle was like, "8," and Derek was like, "Oh, good job, you got it right," and then they high five each other, and then they went upstairs, and then Risa came down, and I was like, "Well, you guys are having a great day. They're getting along well," and she told me, on the way home from soccer practice, they were calling each other names, they're punching each other, and it was just freaking a mess inside the car. And Risa said, well, you guys better watch out because once you get home, I'll tell Dada, and you guys are going to be in big trouble. So it was literally an act. I was like, these kids are freaking great. I kind of like was a little suspicious. Like, this is too good to be true. Like, when are they freaking like high-fiving each other and doing math together? Like, this is not normal behavior. But I guess the fear of me getting mad at them is what drove them into a good behavior. So a little bit of fear is actually good, okay? And having these fear is what's going to actually prevent you from going backwards. And you know, one of the things that Laura says, which is crazy, she says it, I'm like, oh, are you sure about that? But she says, I know I'm replaceable. And that just shows, like, you know, and when she misses work, she'll send me pictures at the hospital and stuff like that. Like, Laura, I believe you, okay? We've been through this for 10 years, and she's sending me pictures. Like, I'm so sorry. She generally cares that if I'm, like, upset or something like that, that she worries about that. And it's kind of crazy because of where she's at, but she still has this fear, and I still have that. And I get that. That's why I'm like checking guys' mouths and all that stuff. And I'm just always worried about things happening and not getting overly confident because you guys will maybe have seen people who believe they're better, but they have no fear and they start acting a certain way and they go backwards. It's crazy. They think they're better, but they don't think they're better. So they still they keep working hard and act accordingly as if things will go bad. All right. And number 3 was an interesting one. And this totally makes sense. This is what kind of keeps you focused, okay? And it's called impulse control. This is what all the successful people had. What does that mean?
Like control, like what you want to do in the moment.
Yep. What are some examples?
I don't know, maybe like if, for example, you get upset at an employee and like at that very moment you're upset and your impulse is to be like, hey, this and that, but you know, impulse control, you kind of control yourself and say it in a different way.
Uh-huh.
Impulse control.
Are you saying I need to do that?
No.
I think you want to.
No. Are you saying you are by saying that?
Huh?
No.
No. I think I've gone so far with impulse control. And some of the things I talked to you guys about is that. Like, you know, I really like Lambos and I could buy 4 of them probably right now, but I just don't. I just don't think that's a good financial decision because maybe I have the fear.
That's true.
What about shoes?
Shoes? Okay. I can't control my impulses.
I have impulse control. Dad doesn't have impulse control.
Depends on what it is.
It depends on what it is. But I'm thinking, okay, $400 sneakers is, yeah. I think it's better than other stuff that I have impulses for, like gambling.
Yeah.
Okay,
a waste of money.
you know, that's something I had to control. I didn't talk about one of the other things I sacrificed because gambling made me have less quality sleep because I was thinking about it, and I was actually losing sleep because I was in the casinos for too late. So that's a good one. Drinking, okay, and just all these things, you know, like what are some others you guys have, like shopping, right? Sometimes emotional, like that's a great example there, you know, where maybe I get heated, but whenever you guys make the biggest mistakes in your lives, it's usually because you got too emotional. And these successful people don't make these mistakes. They got their feelings hurt, but maybe they're like, okay, well, let me sit back and look at think this through logically and be in a calm state and make decisions that's better for the overall well-being for my team and my family and my business and for a professional career. And maybe we've seen that in the past where people didn't have impulse control. Maybe they got their feelings hurt, and I'm like, fucking out of here. And I'm like, okay. And then just emotionally being able to control yourself is so important. This is an example of how not having impulse control hurt me. So this is also real recent because I got my car fixed, right? It took me freaking how many months? I think like 5 months to get my car fixed. And then we went out to dinner and we were listening to DJ Khaled and we were all like having a good time. And then the kids got out because our garage is a little tight, but we're still kind of listening to music. And then Derek turned around at me and he started dancing at me like, right? And I was like, yeah. And I started pointing at him and I was like driving in, because my impulses was to dance. And then I hit my bumper on the side of the freaking garage.
Oh, come on.
Doesn't your car beep though?
It does. It's like beep, 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 beep. I'm like, and then we both looked at each other like, This has nothing to do with it, but it was kind of funny where we went inside. I was like blaming myself. I was like, it's not your fault, Derek. It's like completely my fault. I'm gonna fix it. Don't worry about anything. But then Rita was like, you should have like not. Why are you like dancing there? Where he's gonna drive in. It's like dangerous and all that stuff. And he was going through his Pokemon collection. He was pulling out all his good cards.
Oh.
Right now, I was like, so he's like, Dad, you can sell these. I was like, no, it's okay. So I'm teaching him to be a nice person. So I was glad to see that. But basically, what I'm trying to tell you guys is, okay, the superiority complex is what's going to help you go this way. Okay, the fear of being inferior is going to prevent you from going this way too much, and the impulse control is what's going to help you stay the course. Because so many people can't control the impulse control, and I sometimes feel this way too. Like, oh, I'm gonna start another business. I could do everything. I want to do this, and then you just want to think like you want to go all over the place where you don't know where you want to be, and then you just cannot focus on something too long. Just like Laura did for 4.5 years, being at 25K and not hitting 50K. The impulse control is what's going to keep you focused and go in the right direction, because that's part of being successful. Is a persistency, like Diana said, is to keep going after it, and not giving up, and keeping yourself focused. Because there's a lot of times people didn't hit 25K and they're like, oh, I want to be a nurse, or I want to do this and I want to do that, and then they just didn't have the ability to control themselves for long enough periods of time to actually reach the level that you could be successful at. So what areas do you guys feel like you guys need a little bit of work on?
I'll say 3.
3, okay. When your friends call you out on Monday night and say, hey, let's go party, you're going to be like, woo.
Nobody parties on Monday nights.
Okay. But yeah, I just want to share with you guys, because my goal is to have more of you guys reach where you guys want to be next year financially. So believe, okay, you guys wouldn't be here. I wouldn't hire you guys if I didn't believe you guys were better than the other candidates. Okay, do know that bad things can happen according to your actions, so you do want to have a healthy fear. And then control your impulses when sometimes you get emotional, or sometimes you're like, oh, okay, other people are missing work, let me just enjoy a day. I'm sure that's not happening, but other things that could maybe hurt your career, control those by having control, okay, and having emotional stability. So those are the things I want to share with you guys, because again, like I said to you guys, my goal is to have you guys' goals come true. I'm just trying my best to help you guys do that. So when you guys walk out of this conference room, just commit to this. That's why we went over this first. Commit to this, have this target, and have the desire and commit to that, because you guys deserve it, and so does your family. Let's get into this month's topics here. One of the things that I'm so happy about is that we're going this way, right? It just so happens, last month we talked about, hey, let's learn from the successful. What do the successful people do? They believe that they're better. They have insecurities or fear that drives them, and then they have impulse control. This month we're going to talk about, I read a book, it's called How the Mighty Fall, but it's basically a research book about how all these great companies went bankrupt. So I want to do the opposite here and learn from them, because, this is my saying, but I say average people learn from their own mistakes. You make a mistake, you learn from that. It's pretty average. Okay, dumb people don't learn from their mistakes. They make a mistake and they just keep making it. And the smart people will learn from other people's mistakes. So I want to learn from other people's mistakes so we don't go backwards. Okay, so there was 3 indicators, the main indicators that all these corporations and businesses had in common when it came to actually going down, which is something I'm very afraid of, just because they're doing well, they're not working as hard. But it was actually the opposite. It's interesting. That's what the author thought he was going to find out too. But it wasn't actually that. They started doing better, and they actually wanted more. This is how you get better. You have to pay your dues and keep working your way up, and that's going to continue to do it. But at a certain point, they just got a little bit too greedy, where they're like, oh, I'm so good at what I do. I'm going to just do this, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to, I feel like I should make more money faster, and then that actually led to the downfall. doing things unethically or doing other things that they shouldn't be doing. Like, maybe I fall into this category too a little bit where I was like, well, and I still do it. I'm like, I'm going to do coaching now and I'm going to sell leads and I'm going to sell bags, and which I'm already doing. But it's like, those are the type of like things that get you in trouble when you feel like you could win at everything. But really what's better is to do what you do better. Even though that's boring, like coming up with these like, how to text the clients the ID cards, like figuring that out. That's kind of boring. It's kind of new. It's kind of cool to be like, oh, I'm going to charge like, thousands of dollars to do a coaching business. It's kind of fun and exciting. But those are the new ventures that companies do. What's another one you guys think? It's a hard subject, but I'm going to give it to you guys. Okay, hubris of success. You guys know what hubris means?
No, what is that? It's a new word. Never heard of it.
Hubris means excessive pride or overconfidence. I've seen a lot of agents get in trouble here. It's ego. It's thinking that you're the shit. Okay, and I've said it before, but when you think you're the shit, you turn into shit. Okay, I've told people, hey, after reviews, they're like, you're doing so great, and then all of a sudden they think they're so great, and they start working hard, and they start not acting like what got them great. So overconfidence, think you're the shit, and then really just giving yourself too much credit. Okay. I don't want to do that. I always try to give credit to you guys. I always want to give credit to the situation that we're in. We're so lucky to be, first of all, farmers insurance agents in California, because all the other insurance companies are going through difficult times. Farmers insurance started in California, and 40% of our clients are in California. So we're kind of lucky, to be honest with you guys. Okay, because remember, we got to humble ourselves because 5 months ago we did $283,000 because of underwriting changes. It could just like that, it could go away. So we're not as great as maybe we think we are. So we always want to stay a beginner. We always want to stay a student, and just really thank our circumstances and just feel like we're fortunate, because we really are. If it wasn't for the internet, we wouldn't have the ability to make this type of money. You guys all were born when there was the internet. I was born when there wasn't internet. Like our parents' generation, literally, the only way to learn was to go to school. That's why school was so overvalued, because they were like, you gotta learn stuff, and then the only way you could learn was to have somebody teach you at school. And then our grandparents' generation, they're thinking like, well, at least you guys had running water. Thinking that we're lucky and being grateful is another way to kind of prevent this from happening. And the last one is denial. You could have greed and you could have pride, but then when things start going bad, these companies, they denied it. They're like, oh, that's not my fault. That's not our fault. That's the market's fault. No, we're still great. So they didn't overturn things around because they kind of like denied they're doing bad. So basically not taking accountability. When things don't go well, in our office, we have to take accountability saying, hey, we messed up there. Okay, we didn't get the sale, like it's because of our fault. It's not because of the client's fault. Just maybe we didn't explain the value. And once you deny it, then it just keeps going down and get down because that's the trajectory you're on. So you could have these mistakes, but if you don't have this part, at least you could turn things around. And that's how companies really went through these 3 steps and actually went all the way down. I know Laura's and Jazz are killing it. I really hope that you guys will too. That's the plan that I have for you guys, but it's going to take some time. Let's pay our dues, stay loyal, and have patience, and let's not have too much pride, okay? We're lucky to be what we're doing. We're lucky to be in the team we are. We're lucky to be in this business that we're in. There's just so much things that we should give credit elsewhere if you're doing well. And then if you mess up, let's take accountability. Let's say, hey, I messed up there, and learn from that. All right, and then we're going to talk about how we're going to go upwards here. 2023. Okay, so we talked about how you are here, and then this is where you want to be. So just imagine next year around this time, you just had the perfect year ever. Like, what are some things that would have happened if you put in your head like, oh man, last year was like the best year ever. And for us to get to here, and for prevent us from going down, what do you think we need more of? What do you need more of?
Leads.
More leads. Okay. We definitely need more leads, and trust me, I'm always thinking about that. Every morning you guys come here before 8, I'm here at 7. I'm thinking about that.
People.
More people? Okay. What are some other things that I always talk about that you want more of always?
Sales.
More sales? Okay. What about mindset stuff?
Good energy.
Motivation, energy. But I'm going to actually talk about today something that I never talked about. Okay, this might come from somewhere different, and I might get a little deep on you guys, but you guys want to take a guess? It starts with the word L. It's love. That's what's going to take us to the next level, okay? And in what ways would you guys say we need more love?
Love our work.
Love our work, okay. One thing we want to say here is love our work, but first thing first, what we need to do here, and this is what sometimes we get in a little bit of trouble, as we get bigger, we need to love our customers.
Love our customers.
Okay, we just have to remember that fundamentally that they are the ones that pay our bills. Okay, and as I have empathy for you guys because I'm not on the phones all day long talking to people, and some of these people are outrageous, and I totally get that. But we have to keep in mind that, hey, we have this game is basically who takes care of someone better. The companies that care about their clients the most are the ones that win the most. Insurance is a very boring subject. It really, if you think about it, all the people in the corporate office, it's just an actuarial, which means it's a math business. They just calculate stats in there. If you're this old or this kind of car, if you have this many tickets, just do all this math in here, and they just spit out the formulas and they just give it to us, right? So what we do is we're in the middle there, and then we have the clients here. So all we do is humanize the math to them and then present it to them with empathy and love and care. That's our job. We convert the math and humanize it to the masses. The way you do that is the people that care the most are the ones that are always going to win. That's why, hey, they wanted the ID cards. You guys tell me what our clients want. Our customers want this. Our customers are kind of like, frustrated about this. And you guys tell me, and I'm going to try my best to take care of our customers, because that's basically how I built this business, is all the way through here. Like, what can I do for my clients? How can I be there for them? What should I do? And trust me, that is something that we can't forget. Because of greed, sometimes we forget about our customers, who are the ones that helped us get here. So first thing first, more love to our customers. Okay. Second thing, loving each other is something that's going to be critical for us as we get new teammates, and we will go upstairs and we double our people, not right away, but we get new faces here and there like that. It's so important that for us to keep going the right direction and not go this way, and sometimes pride can get in the way, is that we got to look at each other and help each other. It's not a competition. If you look at it as a competition, just look at it as a collaboration. Okay, we're here to help each other, and it's critical that we have a workplace that supports each other. Okay, because we're all on the same team here, and that's just going to make your energy just so much better, because the amount of love that you give out to the world is how much you get back. The abundance of love you give out is just equally comes back to you. Okay, so if you think about it, the people that don't make any money are the ones that don't love anybody. They don't get any good energy back because they're not giving it out to the world. Like, why are they going to have any money coming their way if they're just not giving any value to the world? Okay, we're all different here, and sometimes we have our differences. Overall, I feel like you guys are doing an excellent job from as we go through this progression. But just keep that in mind, that's what I like to see. Maybe we should change that to care. Okay, we care about our customers. The love is too strong of a language. Care about each other, care about our customers, same thing, okay? And what's the most important one? Thank you, Laura. Okay, I'm going to say yourself. So when it comes to like motivation, discipline, consistency, leads, and stuff like that, sometimes if you don't, because we're not robots, right? We're going to mess up sometimes. The problem with these type of motivation, which I've always used, it sometimes ends up in like shame or like guilt. Like, I wasn't consistent. I wasn't disciplined. But I think when you flip that around to because you love yourself, the motivation becomes different. So what you want to do is, instead of saying, hey, I'm going to go to the gym and punish my body, you're going to say, I'm going to go to the gym because I love myself. Okay, I'm going to eat well because I love myself. Not hang out with negative people because you want to protect your energy, because you love yourself and you value yourself. And then you're going to make more money for yourself because you truly feel like you deserve it. I've seen so many people in this business that had all the tools. They had everything. Like, there's no reason they couldn't have been so great at their business, but deep down they didn't love themselves, and for some reason they felt like they didn't deserve it. And they literally self-sabotage themselves just because the lack of self-love is what happened. How much you love yourself is just really going to determine, because if you don't love yourself, it's going to be very difficult to do these two. Okay, so the amount you love yourself determines how much you're going to love your customers and your clients. You just cannot put love out there when it's not within you. I just want to share something that maybe I've been fortunate. A lot of it does come from parents, and when it comes to that, I've been lucky as heck. But if you guys ever feel like, hey, maybe this is something that I want to work on, just know that when you guys were born, that no one was born not liking themselves. Okay, there's just something happened. Like if this is the present right now, something happened in the past where someone or something happened where you felt like you're not enough or you don't deserve it. Just have to go back there and just heal that story that you have of yourself. Heal yourself, and then that's gonna make yourself feel like you deserve more. And I truly believe that you guys do. Okay, your identity and the feeling that I deserve more, I'm worth it, I'm worth the hard work, I'm worth all the money that I'm gonna get, that's gonna determine your future income potential. So I just really wanna share with you guys. And I just wanna leave you guys with a couple things here. All right, so the more abundant your love is, the more abundance of money you're going to have. Okay, so in this conference room, I'm gonna just share something I prepared for you guys. I want to give you a direction correlation away from the flaws you see in your reflection, because there aren't flaws, they're simply protection against the doubts you have of your perfection. And when you leave this conference room, just have this abundance of love, okay, to our clients, to each other, and to ourselves, because, it was tough for me here. It was really tough for me here. It was really tough for me to get to this level, and then 500,000. It's like I said, this whole thing is a celebration. I don't need to celebrate because I come in here every day. It's a celebration, and you guys have helped me personally get to this level. So me personally, I just want to say it's gonna sound corny, but I love you guys.
We'll see you.
I love you guys. So I hope you guys love yourself too. Okay. So that was our great month here, and now I want to talk to you guys about what I want to end this meeting with is our identity. Okay, something I haven't talked about, right? Our identity. So I'll share you guys a little bit of story. This is a story of me and my son, Derek. He's 8 years old, and he got in trouble the other day because one of his friends told his mom that he was using the F word. So that mom told Risa, and he was in trouble that day. As well, he should be. Do you guys, is that bad for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's understandable, right? Way too young. And then, we were playing video games. We were playing FIFA, soccer, and he's pretty good at that game. He always beats me. But for some reason, I got lucky and I beat him. And he's pretty competitive. And it was around bedtime, so he was like, okay, time to go to bed. And he just lost, right? So he was like, do you guys kids do that sometimes?
Yeah.
So he was just in a bad mood, and then they were going upstairs, and he was like, this is fuck.
No, you didn't. That's funny. That's kind of not funny. What?
But she was mad, and she was so mad, she was like over it. She was like, and then when it gets to that level, it's always my turn. It's like, you're gonna talk to Dada. And he was like, I was like, first of all, son, you ain't even saying it right. No, but I looked in his eyes and I was like, hey, you're never gonna forget what I'm gonna tell you right now. Do not forget what I'm gonna tell you right now. You are smart. And he was like, okay. But I was like, and I know you're smart. I guarantee you're smart because you're my son and I'm super smart.
Oh my God.
And Risa was in the corner like, where's this going? And I told him, does using the F word help you in any single way? How is using that word smart? Did you get anything out of it? You got your Pokemon cards taken away. You're lucky you've been able to play this game. She's mad at you all day long. You just had a terrible day. How is using that word smart? And I know you're going to say your friends use it. But because I'm competitive, I'm using this angle. But when your friends say it, think that they're stupid. And you don't want to be like them. You want to be better than them. Because I know for sure, Derek, you're fucking smart. And Risa was like in the corner like, because I used that word to him. You guys get it?
Yeah.
Okay. So the whole reason I was telling him that because, I want to shift his identity to thinking that he's smart because a lot of times our identity comes from our parents. And as parents, I think that's one thing that we have to do is let them believe in themselves because that's really a bad thing if you think you're not smart. Do you guys know what the definition of identity is? The definition, according to the Webster Dictionary, is the fact of being who or what a person or thing is. Okay, so it's not what you perceive or you think. It's actually a fact. So how you think you are, what your identity is, actually becomes fact. And I believe in that because I've done this so many times where I've hired people, and every time I hire people, I always think like, okay, this person has all the skills, the communication skills. They know how to leave a voicemail, they know how to talk, they know how to write an email, they know how to follow up, and they have enough learning ability to become able to become a successful insurance agent. You have all the tools. But for some reason, they just don't get there, and I figured it out. I was like, wow, they just don't believe they deserve it. Self-doubt, sometimes even self-sabotage. Like, why did they do that? They fundamentally believe that they didn't deserve to win. Because I would say the number one reason why people don't win is because they just don't believe they deserve it. Okay, so I want to tell you guys that how to increase our own identity for 2023 too, because we all change, you know. So how do we change our identity to someone who deserves more is what I want to talk to you guys about, okay? So the first thing, if you have doubts or negative self-talk, where did it come from? But if you guys think about it, when you're a kid, right, or when you're a baby, an infant, you didn't, come out of the womb thinking like, oh, I'm so stupid. Like, I'm such an unhealthy person. It could be your parents. It could be your friends. It could be your ex-partners. It could be all kinds of people that you grew up with that put some type of information in your head that made you feel like, oh, because you're this, you can't do that. And then also society too. And especially for your guys' community, I hate to say this, but I hate the way the society is programming this community, and the other communities, minority communities. They don't want you guys to have power. They don't want you guys to have money. They tell you guys to go to school, and if you don't, you're dumb. But if you do, you still, nothing happens. The programming is pretty messed up, okay? And I hate to see it, but another thing that is happening here is sometimes it's your own people too. I'm gonna change the story here, but does anybody like eating crabs here?
Crab?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You guys love it?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you guys eat it at?
Boiling crab.
Boiling crab?
Wherever they have it.
Where do they get it from?
From the ocean.
From the ocean? And then do you know who gets them?
Fishermen.
They're called crabbers.
Oh, crabs.
Yeah, crabbers. Now these crabbers though that I'm talking about, they actually do them one by one with bait.
Oh.
Okay. And then they get these crabs and then they put them in a little bucket. We had our best month ever, so we got to treat ourselves. So what happens when they put in this bucket here? Because, yeah, they probably know they're gonna get bowled up real quick and then eaten. Yeah. Okay. So if you, they wouldn't, maybe their instincts, because it's not their natural habitat. Thank you, JB. I wouldn't think, oh, this is cool, I'm gonna stay here. And then, they kind of know something happened here. Anybody here energetic and ambitious? You guys energetic and ambitious?
Very.
Okay. Then what would you try to do?
Get out.
Get out.
Somehow.
Somehow,
I
right?
don't even think like the crab.
Yeah. But
Do
this,
they even have a brain?
it's natural instincts probably, but these crabbers, they don't even put a lid on there. You know why?
Because they're not gonna get out.
They can. They physically can get out, but they know can't get out. You know why? Why are the crabbers not putting a lid here and not worried about them getting out?
Because they're confident that they caught it.
Yeah, but
They have it in the bag. They have it in the bag
Because
already.
they can get it again if it comes out.
no, they actually can't make it out.
Because there's another crab? Oh, tearing it down. It's another crab tearing it down.
The crabber knows the other crabs won't let one out.
Oh, really?
The fisherman knows the other crabs won't let one out because they're always dragging them down.
That's so sad. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like, hey, if I'm dying, you're dying with me.
Yeah.
That's how the community is sometimes. It's pretty messed up. And I'll tell you guys, there might be some crabs in your guys' life too. Because I've had crabs in my life when I became really ambitious. People who look just like me, who grew up near me. It's a lot of times due to insecurity, like, wait, I don't like myself, so if you're winning, if you're out there free, then it'll make me feel worse about myself. I'm gonna put you down here. It's a really messed up situation, but that's where a lot of times these self-doubts come from. So really audit yourself when you guys have friends and you guys tell them like, hey, I want to be healthy, or I want to do this, or I want to go hard and work on the Saturdays, and if people say stuff that are trying to pull you down, make sure you know what's going on there. unfortunately, some of your friends, some of your family members, they don't want to see you win. Okay, and I know it's hard when it's your own family. Okay, you just don't have to kind of, you can't cut them off, but you kind of have to like, okay, I get what's happening here. Okay, I'm gonna listen to you, but not like really like let it get to me. But if it's a friend situation, then it's for me it would be easy like, all right, I'm never talking to this person ever again. All right, number 2. All right. So the society is brainwashing us. So what we should do is brainwash ourselves. You tell yourself who you are. What are some things that you want to tell yourself? What's a good identity to have? I'm a successful person. That's identity that I have. Okay, I'm a healthy person. Okay, I'm an honest person.
I'm a hard worker.
I'm a hard worker. I'm a loyal person. I'm an honest person. I'm a good father. I'm a good husband. I'm a good son, etc., etc., etc. These are all identities. Okay, and once you have identity, then you know you're gonna how to act accordingly. This will never happen. But if I was a vegetarian, if that was my identity, it makes your decision making so much easier. Because I'm not going to be thinking like, should I eat a T-bone steak for breakfast? You already know that, right? So if I say, hey, I'm a successful person, then I'm not going to be thinking like, oh, I'm going to blow all my money on cars or gambling. Yeah. Right? So I'm not going to do that because my mindset is that I'm a successful person. So have an identity and then act accordingly. Now this is going to really help because for some of you guys, if you guys are like, okay, I'm really wanted, if you're in a decision-making stage, like, oh, what should I do? You could be like, okay, well, in this situation, the sales situation, or this type of situation, like, what would Laura do? What would Jazz do? If you have real-life examples, that's a good one. Like, even before, I want to say, hey, I'm a owner of a multi-million-dollar business that has 15 to 20 employees, like even before. Then I was thinking, like, okay, what type of person would that type of person do right now? How would they treat their employees? What type of marketing systems would they have? And then I have the identity first, and you could almost work your way backwards of thinking what you need to do. It could be a fake character if you want to. This is where, what would Jesus do worked out so well in the Christian faith because that really helped people act the way they should. Okay, but you could do that with yourself because, okay, what would someone who's making $100,000 do here? What would someone who's making $200,000 do here? Would they be calling off? Would they be following up? If you know who you want to be, you know what you need to do. So I just want to share with you guys some of the things that, 2023, my recommendation is to have an identity of yourself as a successful person, as a healthy person, and as a happy person. And once you have that identity really deep into you, then you're going to act that way because your identity does become fact of who you really are. And then number 4, okay, this is for everybody because I'm making it sound easy, but it's still not easy to just change your identity all of a sudden. Like I had self-doubts, but now I don't. It's not that easy, right? So what do you think is the key to all this coming true of changing your identity? Work ethic is what really proves that, okay? Because try putting in so much work as hard as you can, and then see how you feel about yourself. Like I get here sometimes on a Saturday and it's before 6 a.m. and I park my car and I literally see no other cars in the whole building. I don't even think the security guards are there. And it's pitch black and I'm walking into the office and I'm thinking to myself like, dude, I better become rich. So I just want to tell you guys that if you put so much time and so much effort into becoming who you want to be, it will be unreasonable for you not to become that. It just wouldn't make sense if you know who you want to be, and then you put so much time and effort into becoming that person. There's just no way you won't be that. So pick who you want to be and just put all your effort and time in it. And the best thing about work ethic is when you put so much work in there, you start feeling you deserve it more. I put all that work in, I freaking deserve it. I want to acknowledge you guys for some of you guys being extremely hardworking and being moms and being great at your outside life. There's a lot of things going on in your guys' life, but work ethic is the key to feeling that you deserve more. So put in the work because like Jasmine and Laura has showed us, it just comes down to that, like what you do here. With the more activity you do, you're just going to get better and better at this job, and you feel like you deserve more, and that's going to attract better things coming in your life. And then I just want to end this also with the internal game of believe in yourself, and you guys have to come up with identity. Like, I can't do that. I can't also do the work for you, okay? But there are people in your life, this isn't probably real life. Real crabs don't do this. But what are these type of crabs? What are they trying to do for you?
Trying to pull you out.
They're trying to pull you up. I could tell you, I've been very fortunate. This is just by luck. You just have no control over this. But my parents didn't get me anywhere close to this bucket. We're not even getting close to this shithole. So they pulled me out real quick from the get, and I was off to a good start. Now, not everybody has that. I get it, you know. But you guys have some of these people in your lives, then make sure you appreciate them. Because we only get a few in our lives. Okay? And as an office, this is what I want to see happening. Is where we're lifting each other up. Okay? Because what's the alternative? There's companies like this. You're not getting out. We're going to be broke together. And that's not good for business because there's no way you could be successful in an unsuccessful company. So I'm just telling you guys, okay, we're not competition, we're collaboration. It's not competition, it's collaboration, because that's been a story of my career, is the more people I've helped myself. Okay, so I just want to have a culture here of us helping each other, pulling ourselves out, helping each other get better, and then, you know, me personally, okay, again, there might be only a few people in your lives. I want to be one of those people that is lifting you guys up because that's my job. You know, I take my job very seriously. So I'm helping you guys pull your guys' self out, have the right mindset, get the right training, get all the tools you guys can because, you know, I really feel that we all deserve more, okay? And you guys deserve more. So you guys going to come up with a new identity in 2023? Do you guys feel like you deserve more?
Can I get a raise?
Let's go out there and get it. 2023, new identity. Let's get it, guys. Thank you.